At 29 years old, well out of control in his last start, and the one thing he will do, curveballs in any count. He said he got a little bit out of whack in his last start out in Oakland. Only 2/3 of an inning, 3 runs, 4 walks. And then again, and it's a little different era because he was hurt last year with back problems, but great 3-0 record with an ERA of under 1 run a game against the Braves.
So the Orioles hope tonight they can get out of the 3-game losing streak, and this 2-8 mark that they have so far in the month of June can be upped against an Atlanta team that for the 18th time this year is back to 500 baseball. You talk about going all around the 500 mark. Here's McLeod, and he'll take it. Pie for a ball, and we are underway.
And another thing, they haven't lost in interleague play. I mean, only played 4 games, but if you're going to play 4, you might as well win them all. That's what Bobby Cox is certainly thinking.
Go get them.
Yep.
McLeod acquired, of course, from Pittsburgh, and getting his at-bats in now for this Braves ball club, and figures to be a very big part of their season, and just a quality deal. For McLeod, this is the 9th game for Atlanta that he has played. He's picked up 9 hits and 33 at-bats with a homer, 2 RBIs since joining the Braves. Overall on the season, you saw the numbers: 259, 10 home runs, and 36 RBIs. 1 ball, 2 strike count. An avid hockey fan, he stayed and watched Game 7 after the baseball game ended last night. Breaking ball taken outside, and a 2-ball, 2 strike count.
Yeah, they gave up a left-handed pitcher they described very much like John Lester. Jeff Locke, Charlie Morton, a right-handed pitcher.
He's going to get that one to second base, and 1 hop. Brian Roberts, 1 down.
Yeah, the difficult thing of hitting Rich Hill is that he's got a curveball you don't see on an everyday basis. He'll throw it anytime, as we mentioned. He throws it from a little bit different arm angle, which occasionally can get him into trouble. But in the games he's pitched well, you just don't see this type of. It's almost a 12-6, but 11.5 to 5.5, whatever you want to call it. Gets that front shoulder high. So for him, it's been more going to have a good curveball, but can he command his fastball?
Coming off his toughest start of the season, one of the worst of his career in Oakland, he gave up 3 runs on 1 hit, 4 walks in 2/3 of an inning. That one hit in the air to center by Escobar. Jones has it. 2 down.
Take a look right here. Raimel, Jones, Markakis around the infield. Moore and Dino with his Sturz out with the appendectomy. Roberts at second. Huff DH last night, back at first base. Matt Wieters, and then again a guy that he's got more putouts than any center fielder in the American League, I believe. You're going to see why. Plays very shallow. And we saw him last night. Gets a great jump on the ball. And you can tell when he runs hard, that means that he's going to have to scurry to get the ball.
Only Torrey Hunter and he in that rarefied air of catching balls in the outfield. This one is popped up by Chipper Jones, shallow right field. Markakis coming, Roberts out, Markakis calls, and he's got it. And Rich Hill has a very solid 1-2-3 inning to start it out. We'll take a look at the starting lineup for the O's when we come back. road. Let's take a look at the starting lineup for the O's tonight, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. It'll be Roberts, Jones, and Markakis, Huff, Mora, and Scott, Reimold, Wieters, and Andino. Matt Wieters, 3 consecutive multi-hit games now.
Take a look at our PNC scouting report on Kenshin Kawakami. Well, he's a Koji clone. They both come from Japan, both about the same height. He will turn 34, which is what Koji Uehara for the Orioles is. The difference is Koji's got a few more runs, but their style of pitching is the same. Look at that. While he's on the mound, 1.8 runs a game, very difficult to win. And again, the ERA, I mean, he was a terrific pitcher in May, and he still was only 2-3 with an ERA of a little over 3 runs a game. So, again, he's got a slider, maybe a little bit better than Uehara's. They both have splitters. He throws a couple of miles per hour harder, and they both challenge the strike zone. And they both have won what, at least the American version of the Cy Young Award in Japan, and they both have won Gold Gloves. So a lot of similarities.
112 wins, 72 losses, playing in Japan with a 3.22 earned run average for his career. 3-year deal with the Braves, signed in January of this year. Kawakami will face Brian Roberts to lead it off. Roberts has a 4-game hit streak coming into the ball game and has upped his average to 286. He will take the pitch down low for a ball. Brian, one of the many in the lineup, along with Nick Markakis, Melvin Mora, and Matt Wieters, who have hit streaks going. It's just that those streaks have been continued with hits that have not resulted in runs going up on the board. 1-0 count. Kawakami with that delayed windup that we so often see from pitchers who are coming out of Japan.
And I don't know. I just think they do it for balance. I mean, obviously there's some deception, but again, you're just going to have to time it. We saw Mike Gonzalez, pumped 4 times, the left-handed reliever for Atlanta last night. Almost stands off the mound. He's so far to the third base sign. Again, we saw Rabu when he came over, did it. I don't know. I don't remember if Hideki or Nomo did it.
Nomo did it, yeah. Daisuke Matsuzaka will do it in a little less dramatic fashion, but will hesitate. Even
Ching-Ming Wang, who pitches for the Yankees, but he is from Taiwan, has a little bit of that type of. So again, it's just, I guess it's a way of gathering yourself what you like to do, whether you come from Japan or the Far East or whatever, is just try to get balance. Yeah. And I think this allows them to do that. Difference, of course, is Koji doesn't get his hair cut as much as Kenshin.
So he has better balance. There's more weight pushing down.
Oh, that's good.
Keeps your feet and your legs where they're supposed to be. 2-ball, 2-strike count on Brian Roberts. And Brian down to third, and that is fouled off. I was joking with Dave Tremblay today about Brian and the third baseman who were playing in, and I said, do you have any explanation why when Brian Roberts comes up, virtually every team moves their third baseman in? And he was like, nope, have no idea why, because he doesn't bunt. Here's that motion.
See it now. There's the gather. Now go. And again, with nobody on base, you have all the time in the world.
2-2 delivery and a breaking ball hit up the middle, nicely timed. Brian Roberts is one of the better off-speed breaking ball hitters in baseball. He got one right there for a leadoff single.
Well, Diaz will come in and play left tonight. McLaughlin center. Francoeur, who had made a great throw last night to throw out Aubrey Huff in what at the time was a 2-2 ball game. Jones, Escobar, Johnson, Canaveras will be over at first, and then Brian McCann, 4 hits last night with a walk, and also was able to make a nice throw to second base. So an all-star night for him, and maybe that's why he made the all-star team a couple of years ago.
Well, let's see if the Orioles can get to it early. Here is Adam Jones up, leadoff man on. Adam still 6th in average in the American League at 326. Fastball is taken up high. He had a 1 for 5 in the ball game last night, getting out of an offer that he had been riding. And now he too trying to find some RBI hits. He continues to be watching the slider away and the hard sinker ball inside. That's what everybody's throwing him. That one stays up and inside. 2-0.
Well, he said, all they threw me was sliders, and then I ran into Peter Moylan, who came in with the bases loaded and struck him out. And I told him what Adam said about you guys just throwing a bunch of sliders. He said, well, I threw him one sinker, gave him a chance, and it was a nasty sinker at about 94 miles per hour, and then struck him out down and away.
2-0 count. Roberts Short lead at first, and he takes that one to left center field on his way back, and goodbye! Reimold and Scott, you got company, and the Orioles have a 2-0 lead.
Well, that's already 3 more than he hit all last year. And he talked about at the cage today, I'm around the ball too much, not letting the ball travel. The ball traveled, and then he propels it out of the ballpark. 2-0 lead. There's your Exmo, bat head to the ball, and the good part of the bat head, the barrel of the bat.
So Jones delivers, and he got all of that one. And the Orioles indeed do get on the board and get the 2-0 lead for Adam Jones. That is going to be a long time coming. They get the home run. And the pitch is taken outside for a ball. First home run since May 26. And that, ironically, is the very day that the Orioles had a home run from somebody other than Scott and Reimold.
Yeah, what, the last 14 by those two gentlemen?
They had 2 home runs in the 26. Jones had one of them, and Aubrey Huff had the other. And now Jones has come back to pick one up here. And the Orioles are on top. It is his 12th home run of the season. RBIs 39 and 40. And he moves into a tie for the RBI lead on the O's. Nick Markakis on a swinging strike, and it goes to 1-2. And keep in mind, this Atlanta team gives up the fewest home runs of any pitching staff in the National League. It's only the 7th home run surrendered by Kawakami. Bobby Cox's team has not given up many. 1-2. Markakis the ground ball to second base. Kelly Johnson up and gets the out.
Yeah, another thing they do so well is the third best run differential in the first 3 innings. So you could see Kawakami, the minute he threw the home run, he went right to the split-fingered fastball. And that is something that Koji Uehara for the Orioles does so well. When thrown properly, and if you think about Nomo, you think about Rabu, you think of most of the Japanese pitchers, they all have that split-fingered fastball.
And he's got it.
Yep. And it's a great way to induce ground balls if thrown again down in the strike zone.
Here's Aubrey Huff. 1 down, nobody on. Huff was slamming him away in batting practice today, putting him out there in Utah Street. See the interleague game numbers, very solid. 5 home runs, 13 RBIs, and the 382 batting average. Kawakami with a 1-0 delivery to him, and he'll foul that one back. 1-1.
Yeah, I asked Brian McCann. He caught Tommy Hanson, their 22-year-old #1 prospect, in his second major league start. I said a lot of breaking balls, and he said that's because. And we talked about Adam Jones saw a steady dose of him. He said because the scouting report says the Orioles can hit the fastball. And you have a veteran pitcher, he'll turn 34, that can do that. He's already been hurt with a fastball in the middle of the plate, though.
Popped up off the fist that time. Escobar, the shortstop, backing up, and he's got it. And there are 2 down here in the first inning.
And Gary, you've been around the game so long. If you're pitching and you get beat with a fastball early in the game, right in the middle of the plate, it doesn't mean you don't throw it. Perfect example right there. He came back, made a better pitch, kept it out of the middle of the plate to Aubrey Huff, who's a very good fastball hitter, and you get the pop-up.
That will bring up Melvin Mora. Melvin's got a 3-game hit streak going, batting at .256 now. He'd like to find the long ball. No home runs in the last 30. More importantly for Melvin, no RBIs in the last 24 games. And the fastball will be taken inside for a ball.
I gave him the formula today. You were there.
You were.
Just change your parking place. Let me park there.
And he asked you, do you own an oil tanker?
Yeah.
And your response was
not yet.
Well, not yet. Not likely. But Melvin does. And the pitcher said, I sent my oil tanker out this morning. It's delivering. I don't have to worry about parking places or give any up to anybody.
Exactly.
And he's not lying about that, folks.
And then I told him, how about $1 for each one of your children?
And I said, you don't have that much money.
So hopefully we got him out of his slump.
Yes, we
there you go.
Base hit into left field.
You got to take his mind off of hitting.
You got to get the oil tankers out of port so he knows.
Well, that's probably even a more important thing. But really, when you're in a slump, what do you try to go back to? See the ball, hit the ball. Now, he had 3 really good at-bats last night. Not as much as he would like to show for 1 for 5. But again, starting to center the ball. And again, when you have one of the hottest hitters in the American League on deck, you get him to the plate with another opportunity to expand that lead in the first inning. So it's only a single, but it's an important single.
The Orioles have a couple of runs, 3 hits in the inning. Melvin Mora back to the bag. That is about as worthless a throw to first base as you'll ever see. Melvin isn't going to steal. There are 2 down. You're not trying to keep the double play in order.
And you're not taking the bat out of Luke Scott's hand.
So, I mean, it's kind of like, okay.
Well, we saw Tommy Hansen again. He's 22. He threw over with Aubrey Huff there last night. Speaking of oil tankers, come on.
Aubrey, if you're watching this later on tonight, that was Jim Palmer.
Well, hey, wait a minute. Some guys lead the American League in extra base hits. That's what Aubrey did last year.
Exactly.
And they're not gazelles. That's all right.
That's all right.
He's very agile around the plate, great at first base. Just doesn't run as fast. Runs hard.
As an oil tanker.
Yeah. No. Well, you ever see a cruise ship try to turn around, Gary?
Like the
Queen
Queen
Mary? Put it in reverse. It takes forever.
It takes forever.
Yes.
It does.
There we go. So yes, oil tanker probably in the same category.
It's probably where that adage comes from, trying to turn the Queen Mary. We'll just substitute Aubrey Huff for the Queen Mary. 1-0 delivery. And Scott will take it inside for a ball. Luke Scott, designated hitter. Got to start in left field. Luke, of course, has been continuing to deliver the long ball. 14 home runs, 35 RBIs, and he has upped his average now to 307. Good number. Runner on at first base, 2 down. Home run by Adam Jones. Early lead. Kept that one down and in, 2-1.
Yeah, I don't think you're going to see any 2-0 fastballs to Luke Scott. I mean, one of the reasons they signed this right-hander out of Japan is because he can pitch when he gets behind in the count with other than fastballs. Again, not that overpowering. Not, Hansen last night was 94, 95. He's going to throw, 89 to 92 maybe. So he's got to trick him on occasion. And that was one of those occasions.
And a fastball away. Kawakami is the first Japanese-born player in Braves history, as most teams have had either a position or pitcher player. He is single, still resides in Japan. And with a 3-year deal, will be spending some time in Atlanta. 6-time All-Star and the 3 Gold Gloves to his credit in the Japanese League. Off-speed pitch. Wow. Scott stepping out on that one like, what was that? I think he hit it on the backswing.
Well, as we told you, Brian McCann, his scouting report's not going to change in one night. Orioles got 12 hits, 6 walks last night, but they only got 2 runs. So again, you're not going to see a lot of really fastballs and fastball counts if you have a pitcher that commands his stuff. And Kawakami, that's really pretty much what he has to do. He's not going to overpower people. In and out, trick him with slow curveballs, and we just saw it right there. Splitters.
Fortunate that didn't hit him in the face as that ball bounced up, caught him right in the helmet. Runner going, and the pitch is up high, and there's the walk. Kawakami having a tough first inning here. The Orioles keep it going with 2 down. Kawakami's walked 26 in 65 innings worked, and Roger McDowell, the pitching coach of the Atlanta Braves, will make a very early trip to the mound.
Yeah, I asked him, had you ever had any kind of relationship as a pitching coach and a pitcher with a Japanese pitcher? And he said, this has actually gone very smoothly. And he said, our strength and conditioning coach, they sat down with all our starters in spring training, and during the season they come up with a plan. Koji Urahara is on his own, and we've seen maybe his conditioning in hot, humid weather be less than really what you'd like, but Roger McDowell says if you're going to pitch in Atlanta, you better be in shape, and he likes his pitching staff to run outside. And I think the same thing applies here in Baltimore, especially when we get into late June and July and August, early September.
Here's Nolan Reimold. Runners at first and second, and 2 down. And Reimold goes after it and fouls it off.
There's an old adage in baseball, you can't make the club in the tub. You can't condition yourself to pitch in Baltimore and Atlanta running in the training room. 72 degrees. It's just not what's going to happen when you get out on the mound.
And it will get a little steamy.
Yeah, Roger was saying when my pitchers start losing it at 75 pitches, I know they're not in shape. Simple as that.
0-1 delivery on the way. Reimold will take the pitch outside for a ball. Nolan Reimold with runners in scoring position, 7 for 14, a 500 batting average with 3 home runs. He's got a wind that could help a ball going out to left field. It's swirling a bit here right now.
It certainly didn't hurt Adam Jones. Yeah, you look at the flags, they're blowing that way, even though Camden Yards with the warehouse, which is one of the prettiest backdrops in all of baseball, the wind does swirl.
1 ball, 1 strike delivery. Kamikawa's pitch will miss down low. Kawakami's coming off a couple of games in which he had no decisions. One against Pittsburgh in the last outing, pitched well, 3 runs, 4 hits, 6 innings, and Chicago before that, 4 runs, 7 hits over 7 innings. And mention that because those are the only 2 games that he has been non-decisioned in, the last 2. His record is 3-6 in 11 starts. The team has won 5 and lost 6 of the games which he has started for Atlanta. But he is struggling here in this first inning. Reimold now ahead on the count, 3-1. And you've got to be careful what you throw to him. With Nolan Reimold's ability to drive it, 7 home runs. Runners off first and second, 3-1 delivery. Reimold will take it, and the bases are loaded. For Matt Wieters last night, yet another multi-hit game. 3 consecutive for Wieters now, as he was on base 3 times, 2 singles and an error. And Matt Wieters, as his manager says, just getting more comfortable playing at the plate.
Yeah, and it started 3 games ago when he started using the middle of the field. I mean, he's got had a double down the line, another ball to right field last night. But I think at this particular point in his career, he's just going to react, try to drive the ball up the middle, and of course he's big enough, strong enough, hits from both sides of the plate to hit home runs without trying to hit home runs.
Wieters is 0 for 9 with runners in scoring position, looking for his first home run. This would be an occasion where both could be taken care of.
Yep.
0-1 count.
And it doesn't have to be a rocket. We saw last night Salazar just hit a soft single into right field, even though Francoeur threw out Huff. It can be a little doink, as Jim Hunter calls him, to make one of the outfielders come in.
Kawakami can't find that strike zone right now. When he gets one, the next pitch is a mile away.
Well, it appears to me, Jerry, that he's, one of the magic equations of pitching is basically throw enough strikes to get him at swinging balls. So that usually starts with strike 1. He can't get that tonight, at least not so far.
1-1 delivery on the way, and a breaking ball is going to miss inside. And Wieters gets a hit in his count here. 2 balls and 1 strike with 2 down. A single by Mora. He's a third. Scott a walk. Reimold a walk. They are the base runners at second and first. Orioles looking to have a big first inning. Here's the 2-1 delivery on the way, and Wieters will foul it back, and the count goes to 2-2.
Yeah, you're looking a little bit at a Japanese pitcher like Daisuke for the Red Sox, always living on the edge with probably not quite as good a stuff. I think Daisuke last year they had the American and National Leagues 0 for 14 with the bases loaded going into early September. That is living on the edge.
Bases loaded here. 2-2 breaking ball will miss outside, and it goes full. Well, 3-ball, 2-strike count. Already warm-up action. Chris Medlin is in the bullpen, warming up for the Braves in the first inning. This is the 8th Oriole to bat here in the first. Mora, Scott, and Reimold. 3-2 count. Kawakami against Wieters. And got him on the off-speed pitch for the strikeout. So the Orioles will get a couple of runs. They do it on 3 hits. Will leave the bases loaded. Adam Jones, the big blow. The home run is 12th of the year, giving the O's a 2-0 lead. Chance to win $99 worth of American Classic scratch-off tickets from the Maryland Lottery for every Oriole home run hit tonight. You can have a chance to win too. Just log in at MASSonSports.com. And Daniel, you're ahead of the game early, with one already out of the ballpark. We go to the second inning. It'll be McCann, Canizares, and Prado due up against Rich Hill, who's got himself a lead. He has a 3-0 mark against the Atlanta Braves lifetime. He's pitched very well against the Braves teams in the outings that he's had. A .94 ERA, 3-0 record, 4 starts. Has worked 8 innings in 2 of the games and 7 innings in another. Here is McCann, who had a 4-for-4 ball game last night, hitting .331, and the breaking ball is a strike on the inside corner. For McCann, his 3rd career 4-hit ball game. That's coming off the DL with getting his eyes fixed. He has really been rocking. A .386 average, 4 home runs, 19 RBIs in the 30 games since he had the glasses.
Yeah, he
installed.
said he had LASIK surgery last year, and then one of his eyes changed, so he had dryness, and he had blurry vision, and that's hence the glasses. Everybody should get them. They're going to hit like that.
Everybody will to hit .384. That one he got jammed on, takes it to center. Jones. One away, second inning. On Wednesday, the promotion everybody's been talking about, the first 25,000 fans 15 and over, it'll be at the Mets game, are going to get the Adam Jones bobblehead. The unique bobblehead as he jumps to make a catch, robbing an opponent of a home run, and has that signature blown bubble going at the same time. You can get tickets at 888-848-BIRD to go to Orioles.com. That's Wednesday for Adam Jones bobblehead night. Canizares in the lineup, playing at first base again. He had a 2-for-5 in the ball game last night. The 29-year-old out of Cuba, making it to the major leagues for the first time this week. Fastball's inside, 1-1.
Yeah, it looked like a very, very good fastball hitter out over the plate. And they jammed him last night a couple of times in, but right there is his power zone.
Jones is there. Canizares is retired, and there are 2 down. With all the talk about the Orioles hitters and the struggles they've had picking up big hits and getting RBIs, it has kind of masked another problem. This month of June has not been kind to the pitchers either. A 6.85 ERA for the starters, 4.2 innings per start, with only 2 wins so far in the month of June. Bullpen has done pretty well, done very well.
Yeah, really quieted down with a couple of exceptions. And I know Rich Hill, I talked to him before the game. He said he's well aware of that. He had the bad outing in Oakland. So did Guthrie. Now, they also won some 3-2 games in a 1-0 game. In fact, Hill Pitt was on the mound. So there's some good side. But, he was talking. I was saying that, you got to get back with your stuff to when you pitch, it's win day. And I talked to Guthrie about that. And that's when you make everybody on the team think that, hey, you're going to win today because I'm on the mound. And that's what starting pitchers want to do. And, a couple of years ago, he had a real good year with the Cubs. Low ERA, last year back problems. But his stuff is good enough to make the Orioles think that they're going to win when he's out there. I mean, he's still got to work on his command. And, of course, when you go to spring training with a new club and you hurt your elbow and you're backed up and you start the year in the minor leagues, there have been some roadblocks. But stuff-wise, he should be a winning pitcher in the big leagues.
He gets the breaking ball in, and the count will go through full to Martin Prado. Prado, who's the designated hitter, has got a 9-game hit streak going coming into this ball game. He has played third, first, and DH for this team. His 9-game hit streak a career high, and that is fouled off in a pitch that was up a bit, and it'll stay at 3-2.
Yeah, he hit that home run off Mark Hendrickson as they got the early lead last night, 2-0, made it 4-2, tacked on 3 runs, 1 in the 7th, 2 in the 8th. Hit a high fly ball. And he's been battling a groin injury on the left side. There's that curveball again. He throws his curveball like most guys throw his fastball. Any count, 3-1 to get to 3-2. Amazing. Just has more confidence in it. So we told you about Rich Hill, big guy at 6'5". And he just said he was flying all over the place, flying open, and there's a curveball that just hangs high in his last start in Oakland.
So he will surrender the first walk of the ball game, as Hill has now walked 17 in 23 innings worked. That'll be the first base runner for the Atlanta Braves, and will keep the inning alive for Matt Diaz. Diaz is starting in left field. You see good numbers in the times that he's had the chance to be in. He also has faced Rich Hill a number of times. He is 4 for 12 against Hill, and will take the pitch down low for a ball. So Diaz gets a shot at it. 6 homers, 14 doubles. He's put up some pretty good numbers extra base hit wise. Runner at first and 2 down, and Diaz very late on that one. 1-1.
Yeah, I watched him play against the Mets the other night. It was real late, and then all of a sudden he got deeper into the count, and he ended up hitting a double to left center field. He is always, and we talked to him before the game, and one of those guys that hits lefty better than righties. This year, both of his home runs against right-handed pitching, he has no answer for it.
That sweeping breaking ball will miss way outside that time, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. This Atlanta team comes in 8th in average in the National League. They are 11th in runs, 12th in slugging, and 8th in on-base percentage. They're 12th in homers in the National League, so they have not gotten much out of the long ball. Only 3rd from the bottom in that department. Bobby Cox's ball club, that's one of the reasons why they've gone back and forth with this 500 record. As he said, that's what we are right now, 500. Inside corner, strike, and it'll go to 2-2.
Take a look right here, and here's our mass and pitch track, and ball just, well, maybe a little inside, but at some point it visited the corner. There's another one, and they don't get it. Red Kranitz, the Oriole pitching coach, said he is not a control type of guy. He is not a command guy. In other words, he's going to be anywhere in the strike zone. And of course, when you're injured and you have some confidence problems, you come back, that's where you start. And then you hope to get those confidence.
Runner going, line drive to third, picked up by Moore, and Diaz is retired. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 1 left on base going to the bottom of the 2nd. Orioles lead it 2-0.
Of instruction and help being offered behind the scenes to these hitters. Nobody is clocking more hours here at the park than hitting coach Terry Crowley. Yesterday he brought Adam Jones out for early batting practice, and perhaps today we're seeing the benefits of that with that 2-run homer in the first. Also, he's been working very closely with Nick Markakis, and batting practice he's watching him in his elbow. He wants him to keep that front elbow down. He doesn't want to flail. And the other day he said, let's do a drill. Let's have you try not to hit any balls out of the park in BP. Let's see how many line drives you get when you do that. So a lot of adjustments are being made, and we'll see if the Orioles hitters get back on track. But Dave Trimley said you have to be careful. You don't want to overload these veteran hitters with too much instruction. Gary?
Yep, couple of base hits will do a lot in that department, just building the confidence back for these hitters. And Dino, number 9 hitter, leading it off here. Kawakami's pitch is a fastball that is in there for a strike, 1-1. And Dino had a 1 for 3 in the opener, and a 258 now in his regular duties at short. Robert will stay in there at shortstop for virtually every game until his Torres is back. 1-1 delivery and pops that one up right center field. Right fielder Francoeur comes over. He's got it, one away.
Yeah, the hitters get into a routine, and when they're struggling, they'll just tweak things. And they go into the cage underneath Camden Yards here, and they work with Crow, the king of swing, Barry Crowley, my former teammates, and they have their routine, and then sometimes they'll hit a little extra on the field if things aren't going well. What I like to see, go with Brian Roberts. I mean, he's been around long enough. He knows exactly what's going on with his swing. But even Adam Jones, who's on debt already with the 2-run home run, said, "Boy, I'm around everything." So at least they know something's going on, and fixing it is something you try to do on a daily basis. And sometimes, they don't even do as many drills because they just feel locked in.
Brian Roberts right now has got it going again, as he delivered a single and scored in the first inning. He's got a 5-game hit streak now. And Bryant's been picking up the multi-hit games. He's hit safely in the 5 with a .375 batting average. In the American League, he's tied for 3rd in doubles, 4th in runs, and now 9th in stolen bases. 2-0 delivery on the way to him, and that's going to be up the middle. He's got another base hit. So Brian Roberts delivers the single, and he's 2 for 2 in the ball game. That comes with 1 down.
Yeah, normally you don't mind when a guy just hits a single, but if you can steal bases, and we saw this last night, the Orioles, the early 2-run deficit by the Escobar home run, and then he double steals 3rd, scores on the routine ground ball off the bat of Adam Jones. So he can do so many things. And right here, 2-0, he's looking fastball. Not a bad pitch, but when you're looking outside middle, which he is, he just hits it into center field, and now all of a sudden the single could become a double if he wants to run.
And Adam Jones, who delivered the home run, is 12th. Will stand in with only 1 away. Not a big lead for Roberts, at least to start here. Jones has had 7 of his 12 home runs here at Camden Yards this season. He's hit well. .323 here and on the road, .330. I mean, really strong numbers, both home and road for Jones. Roberts not going. That'll be foul back.
Take a look, and you kind of alluded to it. I guess if you live in California, it's June gloom, or the June swoon that you talked about. There's April, and there are the runs per game, and there is May, so it starts dropping a little bit. And there is June, and because of course the things that you look at, and you can see the extra base hits are down in June, but again they had 1,000 at bats in May. They're only coming into tonight's game 333 as a team, so you do have some time to get hot again.
0-1 delivery on the way, and a good break down low and a 2-strike count. That had some movement on it.
Yeah, good curveball.
Bottom fell out of that one.
Well, and again, the ball he hits for the home run in the first inning is a fastball, so you might still throw it, but you're not going to throw it in the middle of the plate where he made the mistake early.
Got him on that foul ball right on the foot.
Yeah, well, that's where he broke the front foot last year, and that's the one thing that, which I don't think Adam, a lot of guys will wear the shin guards. I don't believe, because it's hard to tell. That's the 2-seam, and he gets it somewhere, it appears, on the left leg. Take a look at our Masson Exmo right here. You can slow it down as much as you want. It's still going to hurt when it makes contact up on the shin.
That hurts. A direct hit put it right onto the outside of the shin bone. 2-strike count on that left foot. Anything to make an at-bat tougher. Look at the improvement from last year. From 249 to 329 home runs. Already up to 12. He had 4 at this time last season, and RBIs 26 to 40.
Yeah, only 9 for the whole season and 477 at bats.
Slow roller. He's going to have to run on that bad foot. Gunned over, and Kawakami will get the out. Roberts will go down to second base. Jones retired, and there are 2 away.
Yeah, I think maybe with nobody out, you might take the lead runner there. But with 1 out, now you have to do it. It's not easy, but to get Markakis out, the inning's out. But very athletic play by Kawakami, because he gets off the mound very quick, and he's going to take a look. And probably could have thrown out Brian Roberts, but it's a little bit of a gamble and takes the sure out at first.
So Nick Markakis will look for what have been the most elusive hits here in the month of June for the Orioles, and that's the 2-out RBI base hits. 2 down here. The Orioles have a 2-0 lead. Markakis grounded out his first time up. Does have a 4-game hit streak going. Kawakami taking a look at Roberts, and Markakis will take the fastball for ball 1. The Orioles had been hitting almost 300 as you take a look at the look on Jones over there. 300 with 2 down and runners in scoring position, and that has just dropped off about 133 for the month of June. Roberts is that runner who is out there right now, and Markakis will take a strike. 1-1.
Yeah, Nick Markakis and Jeff Francoeur, who plays right field for the Braves, who lead off next inning. They played when they were together at age 16 down in Atlanta. And I said, did Nick pitch? He said, oh yeah. He said, championship game. Pitched a shutout, struck out about 12, hit 3 home runs. He said, we won that one. I guess so.
That one is taken for a ball. 2-1 strike count.
And Francoeur was talking about how he said he could pitch 93, 95 miles per hour, good breaking ball. Didn't have to worry about run support when you're hitting 3 home runs, do you?
Most of the athletes you get at the major league level at some point have pitched.
Yep.
Because they were the best athlete on their high school team or college team. 2-1 delivery on the way. Markakis looks at it inside, and Kawakami continues to work behind on these hitters. And a 3-1 strike count on Nick Markakis.
Yeah, we told you the difficulty with runners in scoring position for the Orioles, but over the year, I mean, Markakis is hitting 338, and the guy waiting on deck is at 321. So these guys have been very, very strong in that capacity all year long.
3-1. Roberts a good lead. Markakis will take it. That's outside for a ball. And Kawakami has walked 3 in the ball game.
You know, it just seems, Gary, he's under. So again, that ball just riding out of the strike zone. And when he did hit the low and away, it was 2-0 to Brian Roberts, and he led off, or he actually got a base hit earlier in the inning. So just not commanding his fastball. And if you don't command your fastball, you can't get to the pitches like the splitter and the curveball and the slider.
He had walked only 1 in each of the last 2 games. He has walked as many as 7 back on April in an April game against Detroit. 2 on, 2 down. Aubrey Huff. Aubrey popped out his first time up. He will take the pitch inside for a ball. So the Orioles getting these extended innings. Aubrey another good number with a 321 with runners in scoring position for the Orioles. Orioles are just trying to get through what has become a ceiling in the month of June, and that's 3 runs. They've had 3 runs or less in 11 of the 12 games played. 1-0 pitch. That one in the air off the end of the bat, right center field. Not deep. McLeod charging in, and he will put it away, and Huff is retired. So no runs on 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left on base. The Orioles have stranded 5 through the first 2. They lead it 2-0.
Palmer mentioned he and Nick Markakis have known each other since they were 16 years old, playing in the East Cobb Baseball League together. They grew up about 45 minutes apart in Georgia. And Jeff told me the two couldn't be more different. We all know Nick is pretty quiet. Jeff is very talkative. And he said at first, when Nick first came into the league, just like the major leagues, nobody really noticed him because he was so quiet. But it took a performance in a championship game in Dallas when they were just 16 years old, where Nick hit 3 home runs in the game and pitched 7 innings of scoreless baseball to win the championship, that everybody finally knew who Nick Markakis was. And he said ever since then, Nick has always let his bat do the talking for him. Gary?
And that's what Francoeur is trying to do right here. And Amber, Jeff Francoeur must really like you because he's taken 3 pitches while you were talking. He swings at 47% of first pitches. So he waited for you to be done and then goes to Markakis. Boy, you talk about a story. Amber lined that one up.
Yeah, and I tell you what, they know each other. It's the wrong guy to hit it to. And either one of them, because they're both, you know, Francoeur won a Gold Glove in 2007. It's just a matter of time until Nick Markakis gets acknowledged for what he does as well as any other right fielder in the American League, which is to play right field.
Somebody's going to think we choreographed that story. Yep. Here's Kelly Johnson. Kelly Johnson's batting 9th in the lineup. Left-hander against left-hander, and he will take the pitch for a strike from Rich Hill. Lefties off Hill are hitting only 143. Right-handers at 258. Well, that's one of the reasons Kelly Johnson has been moved down in the lineup by Bobby Cox for today's game. 1-1 delivery to him. Johnson on a breaking ball, of course, delivers a base hit. He's on with a single with 1 away, and that will turn the order over. The Cal Ripken All-Stars hosting the Valley Baseball League All-Stars Mid-Atlantic Classic, July 15, Regency Furniture Stadium in Waldorf. If you can't be there, it'll be on Masson HD Live. There's going to be a home run derby 5:30. Game starts 7:05. Free. Donations will be greatly appreciated. You can get info at ripkenseniorcollegebaseball.org. July 15. Runner on at first base as the Braves pick up their first base hit of the ball game. Johnson getting it. McClough now at the top of the order, grounded out his first time up. 1 ball, 1 strikeout. McClough had a 2 for 5 in the ball game last night. Pretty big cut right there, and fouls it back 1-2.
Well, last year the lone representative for the Pirates in the All-Star game, and he had a great year. You know, average of what, about 276, but 24 home runs, 93 RBIs. He could steal base 9 out of 9 this year, 66 out of 71 lifetime. So very difficult if he gets on. Pretty conservative when he got on last night, even though they had the lead. But what, he flared one to left and then ripped one to right.
He's a contact guy and a good batter against left-handers. 282 off the lefties. Breaking ball by Hill is way outside. 2 ball, 2 strike count. This probably will be one of the better trades made in the decade, I think. You have picked up an all-star type and perhaps all-star literally player. 2-2 delivery, and he chased one upstairs as Hill got him to go and gets his first strikeout, 2 down.
Man, what happens with 2 strikes so many times? You get good hitters, and we're talking about an all-star, expand the strike zone. He's just going to sneeze at this ball. Take a look at our Exmo right here, and you can see the force and the strain. And another thing, the great thing about pitching when you're ahead in the count is you don't have to throw it over. He didn't, and McClough couldn't get it.
Let him help you. Here's Escobar, the number 2 hitter, flied out to center field, his first time up. Runner at first base, 2 down. Escobar had a 1 for 3 in the ball game last night, having an excellent season and working in that number 2 spot. Escobar, a 234 hitter off left-handers, almost 100 points lower than he is against right-handers. Rich Hill looking to get the Orioles out of the 3-game losing streak and get his 3rd win of the season. Fastball fouled away. Both of these pitchers, teams, hitters, have done much better against them when somebody's on base. Not unusual for starters. Hitters are .313 against Hill when he's working out of the stretch, and only .188 when he's winding up. Kawakami much the same, .307 with runners on out of the stretch, .241 out of the windup. Here's the 1-2 throw over.
Yeah, that's kind of an interest. I used to throw in between when I do my sides as much from the stretch, because invariably, you're going to get runners on. But I think a lot of it has to do also, you hold runners, and then some guys' stuff is not as good again from the stretch. But boy, you would think that if you looked at those numbers when you did do your sides and in between innings, it's great that you get 9 warm-ups, at least some of them from the stretch position, so you do feel comfortable.
You actually thought runners would get on against you?
Yeah, I knew they were.
Really?
Yes, of course. Part of the game.
None of us did.
Thank you, but fortunately it happened.
1-2 delivery on the way, and that'll be fouled back into the seats. It'll stay at a ball and 2 strikes. I saw another number. I thought of you immediately. Did you see there was a story somewhere I read on the number of complete games that are increasing this season? The number is going up.
Well, now that Roy Halladay pulled a groin muscle, they're going to go down.
Well, Jake Peavy's got a torn right ankle tendon. Roy Halladay's got a groin, and Bonderman's got a bad shoulder. Yep. That may all change in a hurry, won't it?
Yes.
Yeah. But they are in the game. They actually are increasing by about. If the pace stays the same, there'll be about 40 more complete games this season. There were 136 complete games last year. They're on a pace for 165 this year. That ball is tagged to center field. Jones going back at the warning track. He's got it. Escobar retired on the long fly ball. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. For the game, you just like to kind of get ready. So Jim and I get down to the waterfront. Airlines. Book your next trip at southwest.com. And by PNC. PNC leading the way. With Jim Palmer and Amber Theo Harrison, our great crew here at Camden Yards. I'm Gary Thorne, delighted to have you with us. The Orioles have the 2-0 lead. The home run by Adam Jones, first inning. Brian Roberts, who had singled, came in ahead of him. And the Orioles get the early lead. Braves lead in this series all time. 17-11, and here at Camden Yards, the Braves have won 8 out of 10 games that they have played against the Orioles in interleague play. Melvin Mora had a single his first time up. Scott and Reimold to follow. Kamikawi's pitch is inside, and it'll be taken for a ball.
What, the 13th year of interleague play? I still remember '97. Of course, they would go to the Orioles go wire to wire, and they went down to Atlanta and swept the Braves. Everybody thought it was going to be a preamble to the World Series. Didn't turn out that way, but both of those clubs had great years. Still remember Lenny Webster with a key home run, I think, extra innings. They didn't do the series, but you're watching because
it was a big deal.
Yeah, Davey Johnson against Bobby Cox.
They had great teams. 1-1 delivery on the way. Melvin Moore chasing that splitter down low, and it goes to a 1-ball 2-strike count. In that 97 series, game 1, the O's had a 4-3 win. It was Maddox taking the loss. Jimmy Key got the win. Game 2, Orioles 6-4, 12 innings. That's the home run. Game 3, Atlanta losing that one, 5-3 the final. Good ball games. That one looped in the air to right field, and it'll stay up. Francoeur gets it, and Mora is retired.
Well, it's great to go back and look at line scores. You see Maddox, who go in the Hall of Fame with over 350 wins. You see Randy Myers. And it's interesting, Bobby Cox with the Braves has 2,002 wins. Got his 2,000 win, I guess, on Monday. If he had ever had any closer had the year that Randy Myers had in 1997, would have won more than one World Championship. But Myers was, I think, 46 out of 47. They just never had, when it came to matchups in World Series postseason, they had that one guy. Mark Wohlers, the home run to Jim Leyritz in 98, I believe, when they were up 2-0, turned that series around. I mean, just here and there. Alejandro Pena, your closer, 1.7 to get the ball to the plate. Everybody's running. It's like a track meet.
That hasn't changed.
No. Well,
here is Luke Scott. Luke Scott drew a walk his first time up, takes the pitch down low. This Atlanta Braves team very much in the running, even though they're only playing .500 baseball with the Phillies and the Mets twiddly-deeing around, winning and losing games. 2-0 delivery, that is taken outside for a ball. If the Braves can find a way to muster up some win streaks here.
Well, I think that's why you talked about the McLeod trade. And again, the Mets have 8 or 9 guys on the disabled list. We'll see them when they come into Baltimore Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Phillies don't have enough starting pitching.
And on a 3-0 pitch, green light ground ball. Johnson bobbled it, but will make the play. Scott is retired. There are 2 down. Let's take a look at our league leaderboard. It's presented by Firestone, a tradition of innovation. Rookie home run leaders: Reimold with 7. Larish with Detroit's got 4. Knicks as well with the White Sox, and a number tied at 3.
I saw where didn't Clete Thomas the Tigers hit a couple of home runs against the Orioles when they came in. They sent him out. Orioles are happy about that.
Very
He's not
happy.
of court.
I was kind of surprised. Thomas was getting quite a bit of playing time. That one fouled back into the screen. Reimold drew a walk his first time up. Nolan Reimold up and 2 down and nobody on.
Howie Kendrick, one of the great minor league hitters, and a couple of good years to the Angels. He was sent to the minor leagues to restore his swing and confidence by the Angels.
Kawakami with the 0-1, and he'll catch the strike on the outside corner.
See, all of a sudden he's getting ahead versus behind. Brian Roberts with the base hit, Jones with a home run. He was behind everybody the first couple of innings.
0-2 pitch is down low, and this is the problem that we've talked about so many times with the Orioles not being able to muster those big innings. You allow the starters to hang around a little longer than they might otherwise, and they settle down. And the pitch is a breaking ball down low, and a 2-ball 2-strike count.
Yeah, we saw that early on. Matt Harrison pitching for the Rangers really struggled, and then he came back, pitched very well, and went on a run until he had to go into disabled list. So, we even saw it last night with Tommy Hansen. Even though 14 guys in 5 2/3 innings, I guess the analogy was that he was out in the middle of the ocean trying to keep his head above water.
That is a fair ball down the line, as Chipper Jones could not get near it. Reimold is on his way to second base, and he's got himself a double, and he continues to be one of the Orioles' most consistent hitters.
Well, you saw it up in the corner, 3rd double of the year on a 66-mile-per-hour curveball. Now it hangs up, and Chipper's playing off the line, and this ball right over the bag. Mike Riley, who the home plate umpire last night, it doesn't have to land fair. All it has to do is go over the bag, and Nolan trying to keep his feet as he comes around the bag.
Reimold has not had 90 at bats yet on the season. 3 doubles, 7 home runs, 16 RBIs. Part of the youth movement, as on second, and another Parks at the plate.
Well, Terry Crowley said today, he said, not only has he gotten great results from Rimo, he said the swing has gotten a lot smoother. And that's in about 2.5, 3 weeks in the big leagues.
And quietly so.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, it's a perfect situation. Not a lot of pressure on. You got a lot of veteran guys. And you got Roberts, who signed long term, Markakis, Huff,
and Wieters getting most of the attention. 0-1 delivery on the way. Fastball outside, and a 1-ball-1-strike count. Matt gets another chance. He came up with the bases loaded in the first inning and struck out. Now he gets a runner in scoring position with 2 down. And a 1-ball-1-strike count. They play him to pull, giving a huge hole in left center field. Kawakami's 1-1 delivery to him. The sinker he just fouled straight down, 1-2.
And if you want to compare Matt Wieters to Joe Mauer, who was a very highly touted catcher, the one thing that they always said about Mauer, and a lot of times overlooked when you can swing the bat, is how important it is to catch. I mean, he's won a couple batting titles, but everybody talks about the ability, the great throwing ability to call a game, understands how important it is to help your pitching staff behind the plate, and then hitting is a bonus.
Here's the 1-2 delivery to Wieters, and he is gone. Fastball. That's the second strikeout. Both have come against Wieters. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 3 complete here at Camden Yards, and the Orioles have a 2-0 lead. On tickets to 4 upcoming games, including a prime game. The first 500 fans to purchase 2 seats will receive an autographed photo of Nolan Reimold celebrating a walk-off homer. Purchase 4 seats and you get the autographed picture of Matt Wieters getting his first major league hit. For details, 888-848-BIRD or go to Orioles.com. We go to the 4th inning, 2-5-0 for the O's, 0-1-0 for the Braves. Kelly Johnson, the only hit a single off Rich Hill through 3. 2-run homer by Adam Jones in the first inning, accounting for the Oriole runs. Rich Hill, 1 walk, 1 strikeout. Kawakami, 3 walks and 2 strikeouts. Chipper Jones, 0 for his last 14. And the breaking ball is taken outside, 1-1.
Yeah, he was in looking at a little bit of film of Rich Hill today. And some of his recent at-bats, again, the big toe of his right foot bothering him.
Markakis, and he's got it. Jones is retired, 2 fly balls to right. And as far as Dave Tremblay is concerned, I asked him today, who's the guy in the lineup you don't want to beat you? And he said, it's got to still be Chipper. Said, we went over it, talked with all the pitchers. Any situation where we don't have to pitch to him and can prevent him from being the guy to beat you, that's the one still.
And then you get the guy right behind him who went 4 for 4, as you mentioned, hitting close to 390. So again, McCann, you see the heart of the lineup.
McCann, 3rd career 4 for 4 game in the ball game last night, and he's upped his average from what was 195 before he went on the DL to a .329 batting average as he stands in right now. He is 0 for 7 lifetime off Rich Hill. And the breaking ball will miss, and the count goes to 2-0 on McCann. Arguably the game's premier catcher right now when it comes to both defensive work and hitting. McCann, very strong numbers in a young career already, and he wanted a new bat. May have chipped that last one.
Well, yeah, against what, since 2006, more home runs, 171, more extra base hits, more doubles, more RBIs than any catcher in Major League Baseball. Now, Posada was hurt. He usually is right up there with the leaders.
Yep.
And he lost 25 pounds. I was talking to him. He said, I just had to get more agile. He lost 25 pounds, strict diet. There's your strike. And he did it on purpose. I mean, just because, well, I mean, it doesn't happen.
No. Breaking balls outside. And McCann is on with a walk.
He said, I'm a big guy.
He is a big guy. 2 walks surrendered by Hill in the game. This one comes with 1 away in the 4th inning. Perhaps if I try and lose weight unintentionally, it'll work. Is that what you're saying to me? Can I lose weight if I don't try?
Well, no.
Okay,
I wouldn't imagine that would be the case.
Just checking. I had a hope there for a minute.
Well, you would probably be, well, you already are in a very select few of people
I don't want to hear this.
that could do that.
Yeah. Lose weight without trying?
Yeah, exactly. But you are very good at you're very good at what you try to do and what I
try to do. Canizares will pop that one up. Shallow right field near the line. Markakis Roberts. That's going to fall in. McCann waited, but plenty of time to get to second base. Canizares will pick up the bloop single.
Yeah, the Bermuda Triangle. It looked like Nick thought, and he's out in right center. See, he's the ball he can probably catch, but he thinks Brian Roberts. So again, it's obviously a lack of communication, but it's difficult to communicate because you just don't know. But the key is to go as hard as you can, and then, of course, sometimes leads to collisions, and that's the last thing you want to see with Brian Roberts and Nick Markakis. But they get a chance to get back in the game.
Now 2 on and 1 out, and the hottest hitter in the lineup of late, along with McCann, is Martin Prado. 1-0 count on him, 1 down. He's hitting .275, but here in the month of June, a .345 batting average. He drew a walk his first time up. He's got a 9-game hit streak going. Hill will miss inside to him and fall behind 2-0. Here's the first big chance for Atlanta with a walk and a single, creating the opportunity. 2-0 delivery, and Prado fouls it into the screen.
But the only thing he doesn't do well is hit with runners in scoring position, at least to this point, a little over 200.
Atlanta's done well against the left-handed starters. They are 13-9. They faced a lot of left-handers. 13-9 against left-handed starting pitching. Here's the 2-1 delivery, breaking ball, and a good one. Off speed, caught the corner, 2-2. Rich Hill just kind of drops that in, and hitters are caught standing there watching.
And as we mentioned, he'll throw it in any count. That's a fastball count. Now, of course, you do have the advantage when you're ahead of the count to look for it.
2-2 delivery on the way to him. Got a fastball and couldn't catch up to it.
And of course, once you throw it 2-1 when you're behind the hitter, it can cause a little bit of overanalysis by paralyzing hitters because now they have no idea what to look for.
Atlanta, one of the teams in interleague play this season that hasn't lost. They're 4-0. The Minnesota Twins won their game today over the Cubs 2-0. They are 5-0. The Twins are in interleague play. The Texas Rangers, the other team, coming into today's play undefeated this season, 4-0. The Twins, Rangers, and Braves starting interleague play with not a blemish in the loss column this year. 3-2 delivery, breaking ball. Did he go? Check it first. No.
Yeah, pretty good curveball, but they just don't get the call. We saw the high curveball called early on, and this one is one of those that just watch where it goes. Now, obviously, it's low where he catches it, but where was it when it went across the plate? And this is your best angle right there. See, yeah, maybe just a little bit out of the strike zone.
And a good call by Wieters to ask for the umpire on that, because in the naked eye it didn't look like he had offered at the ball, and even on the review probably didn't, but he went across the plate a little further than it originally looked. So now Rick Kranitz has come out with Diaz coming up and the bases loaded. Diaz lined out to third his first time up. He's got the sacks full with one away. So Hill will have to bear down. For Diaz, 2 for 2 with the bases loaded and 5 bases loaded RBIs.
Yeah, the league only at 263, but the one number that jumps out had come in giving up 14 runs. The league is also 3 for 4 with the bases loaded with 8 RBIs. So he has had a trouble, and mainly because he can be effectively wild.
One away, breaking ball, and that will be fouled off, so he gets the first strike.
Yeah, Rich Hill is not going to be a guy, if Matt Wieters puts the glove in the corner, that he's always going to hit it. Well, again, he can be wild in the strike zone, but usually his stuff between the cutting, moving fastball and that big swooping curveball can be effective enough to get hitters out. But he's looking pop-up strikeout or double play ball right here.
For Rich Hill, the numbers on him will hope for his sake it doesn't happen here, but the first time through, opponent batting average 182. The second time, which is where he is now, it jumps to 323. The third time numbers not very meaningful because there aren't many at bats. Good fastball right there, and a 1-ball 2-strike count. That's about as hard as he's thrown in the ball game.
Yeah, I think he just again, he's thrown some fastballs, and this is a guy that usually wears out left-handed pitches that just are very sneaky. Again, at 6'5", he hides the ball very well.
And the differential between his curve and fastball is big time. 1-2 delivery and a base hit into right field. McCain will score. Canizares makes the turn. He'll stay. Throw comes all the way in. And a bases loaded single, and it is a 2-1 game.
It almost looked like Matt Diaz, and we're going to take you through this at bat for Matt. Let's go back 0-0 right here. There's that big, and it's a good curveball. Hits it foul. Misses inside. And then big hack late, and then almost the same pitch. He cut his swing down, and watch him get on top of that fastball. Terrific at bat by Matt Diaz to get the Braves their first run.
Diaz delivers. It is the third hit they have picked up for Diaz, his 16th RBI. Bases remain loaded. Francoeur going for the long ball. Francoeur flied out to right field his first time up.
Well, what'd you say? 47.1%. The first pitch he has swung at in his career. Didn't trick you there, did he?
Anxious, didn't he?
Well, it's fine if you're getting a good pitch to hit. And that was a good pitch to hit. That was, one of those grand slam pitches. Great swing, fastball, belt high in the middle of the plate.
He was after it.
Yep.
0-1 delivery to him. Another big cut, fouls it off, and an 0-2 count. The Orioles will get their bullpen active as Brian Bass throwing in the pen. Bases loaded, one away. Francoeur, 296 off lefties, 221 right-handers. 0-2 delivery. Towering fly ball headed into foul territory and into the seats. While Francoeur is not hitting particularly well overall this season, 243, 4 homers, he is always one of those dangerous hitters at the plate with runners on, just because he's so strong. And if he gets a hole on, he can really do some damage. 0-2 deliveries, foul back again.
Yeah, and we were talking last night that his first 3 years in the big leagues, 19 home runs and whatever, and then of course they had to send him out last year because he really struggled. The league adjusted it and he didn't, but he always struck out over 100 times. This year the strikeouts are down low.
0-2 delivery on the way, bases loaded here, and he takes that one down the line, and it'll be a long foul ball.
Yeah, this is the type of count at 0-2, even though the bases are loaded, where you got to trust your catcher. We haven't seen Matt Wieters that much, but you have to be able to finish that breaking ball. And all these foul balls are on big, high curveballs. Not to be afraid to bounce it.
0-2 again. Breaking ball hit in the air, center field. Going back Jones. And that's going to take a bounce. A ground rule double. That will score Canizares and Prado. And the Braves have taken a 3-2 lead. 2 RBI double for Francoeur.
Yeah, the Orioles get a break on the carton turf here, because otherwise all three are going to score. There's your curveball. Still doesn't quite finish it. Watch him stay back. And there's your Exmo bat head to the ball. And Barry Thorne told you about his power. Shallow playing center fielder. No chance for Adam Jones. Puts his hands up as it bounces off that back wall.
So the Braves, after trailing 2-0 in the first inning, have come back and taken the lead as Francoeur's 6 double, RBIs 28 and 29. Now Kelly Johnson, who singled, 2 in scoring position, still only 1 away, 3 runs on 4 hits for the Braves. And Dave Tremblay's team that got out early and then could not get the big hit. They have stranded, the Orioles have stranded 6 in the first 3 innings again. And that opens the door for Atlanta, and they go on through, at least for the moment.
Yep, well, Atlanta did what the Orioles couldn't do. And Francoeur got the big hit last night to make the big pitch, got some big hits.
1-1 delivery to Johnson. He takes it in the air to center. That'll get another run home. Matt Diaz will tag up at third. Here comes the throw all the way through. A good one, but not in time. Great try by Adam Jones, the Matt Wieters. But Diaz is in, and it's 4-2.
Yeah, Matt Diaz saying to me, that's slower. Did he make that good a throw? And I think it's a fact. Watch this. You know, maybe a 1 step a little bit more than you'd like. That was a great thing last night. And here comes Matt. And he's going to go to the outside. Again, Wieters is going to catch it. He doesn't quite able to block it. And then that swipe tag already Diaz by him for the 4th run.
RBI picked up by Kelly Johnson. Johnson gets his 20th run batted in. Now a runner at second with 2 down. Nate McLouth at the top of the order. Breaking ball. That's going to be a base hit. Making the turn, Francoeur. Here's a play at the plate all the way through. Wieters, and they got him. A league-leading 7th assist for Nick Markakis.
Yeah, well, Bobby Cox is going to come out and talk to Chuck Merriweather. Now, perfect throw. It looked like Francoeur might have gotten the tag.
Francoeur will argue he is out. Braves, though, have the lead 4-2.
Plus all you can eat hot dogs, nachos, peanuts, popcorn, sodas, ice cream, and more. It's perfect for all fans watching their budget. And new to this season's menu are fresh garden salads. So gather up the kids, your friends, and anyone with an appetite for fun. For more details on the Left Field Club picnic perch, call 888-848-BIRD or visit Orioles.com. Gary?
Amber, a very close play to end the last inning, and maybe a break for the Orioles as Francoeur and Cox argued about it.
Yeah, that's the only reason it's even close at all. Again, the great throwing arm. So, see, he's out. I don't know if he tagged him early on. It appeared he might have gotten under. The only matter, the guy that counts right there. So, does he get him up on the leg? See, I don't think he tags him. And Francoeur certainly didn't. You know, he did a perfect slide. You know, normally what you'll do, you stay back and wait for the ball to come to you, because by the time you reach out and then tag back, it takes longer to do that than to actually let the throw, especially when you get a great throw as that was.
You know, the great thing Wieters did right there, though, that sold it, was he showed the glove and ball to the umpire as though he had made the tag, and I still got it. See, watch him now. If he touched him right there, he got the out, and then he shows the umpire, I got it. See right there? So he's saying to the umpire, I made the tag, now don't worry, I also still got the ball.
And he's young and he's got a very truthful face. That's all. I mean,
okay.
I'd buy a car.
3 for 3 to go.
Yeah.
Golden. He's out. And he was. Fine throw. Nick Markakis again displaying that great arm. But 4 runs, 4 hits, and 1 left on in the inning. And Atlanta takes a 4-2 lead. Each team with 5 hits in the ball game now. Kawakami with a 1-1 count to Robert Andino, and the breaking ball, slower than slow, missed inside, and a 2-1 count.
He's not used to all this run support.
No.
Well, while he was pitching, again, that 1.8, the way they figure out their run support is while you're actually on the mound. I think it goes all the way up to 2.8, another run in games that he started, and there's low and away heater. It's not exactly a hitter's pitch in a 2-1 count for Robert.
2-ball, 2-strike count. They give Andino that big hole between first and second, which is actually where he usually tends to drive the ball. Here's the 2-2 delivery on the way to him, and we'll foul that one back.
Well, you have to really try to defend where your pitcher is going to try to throw the ball. So if you're playing up the middle and your pitching guy is down and away, a lot of times they will hit the ball in that hole because they don't have a choice, especially with 2 strikes. You're trying to cover the whole plate.
Plus, Andino picks up that back foot a little and tends to lean towards right field.
Well, as I mentioned, he's got 1 extra base hit. He's a slasher. He's not driving the ball.
2-2 delivery to him. There's that breaking ball again that didn't, and a 3-ball, 2-strike count. So the Orioles are going to have to battle back again here as we're in the bottom half of the 4th inning, and the Braves have picked up the 4-2 lead. Bear in mind, both of these teams came into this series with the 3rd lowest batting average in June in their respective leagues. That ball grounded to short. Escobar. Andino retired, 1 down. There's a young, honest face. There have been other young, honest faces in the game before. Well, we just pick out Jim Palmer as just an example. 20 years old, doing the thing like at home with a stack of pancakes prior to the '66 World Series Game 2, trying to convince umpires, fans, everybody else that he's honest. He has a homely way about him. That's home. That's at home kind of way.
That's my kitchen.
Yeah, that's your kitchen. At one of those old gas stoves there.
Well, hey, $26,200. You don't get real modern appliances.
Yeah, but you got a lot of pancakes.
Yes, I do.
You did get a lot of pancakes. That is taken up high, so just another young, honest face.
That was me. A long time ago.
And humble. Can I just say, and humble.
Long time ago I was honest.
Oh, okay, good. Not so humble, more honest. Here's the 1-0 delivery. That ball is popped up by Brian Roberts, third base. Chipper Jones. And Kawakami settling in here after that first inning when he faced 8 batters and gave up 2 runs on 3 hits.
Boy, he really made, and we've seen that over the last couple of weeks. We saw Guthrie with a couple of bad pitches, one early on to Jose Lopez. We saw last night Jason Perkins, the one mistake to Escobar, and that's what he did to Adam Jones. Brian Roberts hits a pretty good pitch back up the middle, and then he throws a fastball right in the middle of the plate, and all of a sudden he's looking at a 2-run deficit. But that's what starting pitching is all about. And we always talk about how difficult it is to come in as a reliever because you don't have a chance to maybe make a bad pitch and then get back on track, and he's certainly done that.
2 down. Jones, who had the home run, shows bunt, drawing Chipper Jones in. Something to think about in the course of the game if it comes into play. Chipper Jones has that bad big toe that he was limping on in last night's game. He is back in at third base. He is not moving well trying to run, and you might be able to catch him if needed with a bunt to third base. 1 ball, 1 strike count. Jones, the batting average champion from last year, looking at another Jones who may sooner than later also claim a batting title. 1-1 delivery. Adam down to third and fouled. 1-2. Adams still second with runners in scoring position with a .378 average. He's got the third best average against right-handed pitchers in the league at .349. He is sixth in the league in average. One of the top three in multi-hit games for the first part of this season. 1-2 delivery to him. Breaking ball, swung out and missed. And Kawakami will pick up the strikeout, his fourth, and for the first time in the ball game, he retires the Orioles in order. So the 33-year-old settling into this game with a 4-2 lead. Palmer and Theo Harris, and again an Orioles starter departs very early. Rich Hill is out of there. 4 runs, 5 hits, 4 innings, 3 walks and a strikeout. Brian Bass in.
Yeah, and he's been very, very good. Did give up the Russell Branyan home run against Seattle, but he was just lights out up in Oakland. Over 4 innings, and back 4 in the 3rd innings. So again, he's just. I was listening to the interview.
Escobar to short, and Dino's got a long throw and a good stretch, but not enough. Pulled him off the bag.
Yeah, he's a big, rangy kid. Comes out of Havana, Cuba, but he gets to down the line. He smells base hit, and then that throw a little bit off. Toughest play for a shortstop. Got to gather himself, and then he made it right then. Right there, it just pulls Aubrey Huff off.
It is a hit.
Yep, you got to think that.
So a leadoff single off Bass. Atlanta sent 8 batters to the plate in the 4th inning. Jones started that inning out by flying out. He'll turn around, bat left here, and will take the pitch for a strike. Chipper Jones trying to get out of his own funk. 0 for 15. Batting average still at .309. 8 homers, 31 RBIs. And Jones will take the Bass delivery away. 1-1. So the Oriole bullpen called on again to try and keep this game within reach.
Yeah, you want to keep it. It's very much like last night. You just want to keep them from getting those tack-on runs and then take your chances in the late innings.
And Chipper Jones takes it 2-1. Jones a .310 career batting average coming into this ball game, almost exactly his average right now at .309. Escobar at first base and a slow roller. Bass will make the flip over to first base. Escobar goes down to second and 1 away. The Oriole bullpen obviously has been either 1 or 2 in innings pitched in the American League for bullpens this season because the starters have had such short outings. And the Oriole bullpen has been, especially of late, very effective.
Well, they have. Brian Bass, who's on the mound now, made some adjustments. His stuff and command got a lot better. We've seen Jamie Walker has been released. He was really struggling. Chris Ray was sent down to Norfolk, where he apparently is throwing the ball very well. George Sherrill is one of the biggest. Ever since they said, well, we may use other people in the close, he made some adjustments. Has been light out, just throwing the ball great, getting great results. But they made some nice adjustments. And then you had Danny Baez, who's been consistent all year long. So they've had some guys really step up in their bullpen. But as we showed you that graph early on, they have the worst starting ERA, and that just has to get better so the bullpen can not have to come in before the 5th inning.
At ball in the air to left field with a runner at second base and one out. Reimold is under it, and he's got it. And McCann is retired. 0 for 2 and a walk and a run scored for the Atlanta catcher in the game. And that is the second out here in the 5th inning. And important to keep that runner at second base with the Braves leading at 4-2.
Well, you got the right guy to be able to do that. And, Barbaro Canizares, we saw him last night. He got the single up the middle, but he had a double last night out over the plate. Brian Bass can run that 2-seamer down and in, make him pull the ball. Seems he's more comfortable out over the plate. Of course, you had to be able to throw it for a strike as he missed down and in.
He's 29 years old, 6'3", 240-pounder out of the International League. Hit .344, 17 doubles, 8 homers, 37 RBIs in the International League when he was called up this week. Only the 3rd game he's been involved in. Canizares had a broken cell phone when they tried to call him to come up. Couldn't get to him. They had to go to his roommate, and his roommate had to track him down. And he got to the ballpark 45 minutes before the game at Turner Field and played in the game on Thursday, his first Major League Baseball game. 2 ball, 1 strike count.
And I love the scouting report. We talked about it last night. Can't field, can't throw. Not a particularly fast runner, but he can rake.
He can rake. And we've seen he's not denied his cuts at the plate.
And he gets 2 hits last night and already 1 tonight.
And a run scored.
Yeah, perfect guy for the American League when you're playing the DH.
That's the kind of cut he takes. 2 ball, 2 strike count. Canizares 1 for 2 in the ball game. Bass trying to get him out of there, retire the side. Escobar is the runner on at second base.
Well, Brian Bass has become one of the better long to middle men in the American League. And he did it by just staying a little bit more close. He's always been able to throw strikes.
2-2 and just got enough to keep his at bat alive.
Well, that's it looks like that's maybe not the danger zone, but the zone that Canizares doesn't seem comfortable. And again, a good sinking fastball, and he just swings over it. You can see he doesn't get cheated. He's not trying to hit it somewhere softly.
No. 2-2 the count. Escobar off second. Canizares goes down swinging. Bass gets the strikeout. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and a base runner left on. Game 2 of the 3-game series. Braves lead by 2.
Over the last couple of weeks. So again, you're very much in the game. Similar score as it was last night. So again, you have the right guy out in the bullpen, And, it's our bullpen better than theirs. Their starting pitcher has calmed down, and Rich Hill has had to lead the game. It just looked like, after getting the 2-0 lead, he lost a little bit of rhythm. A couple of walks in that inning. They took advantage of it, and that's the way the Braves are going to score runs.
And so the Orioles now have got to do the same sort of thing, find that confidence again, hang in, plenty of time to do it. They know the bullpen can be effective in shutting down the others. Now those big hits, they've already left 6 people on base.
Yeah, and I think the most difficult thing when you're not overpowering is what's going to happen second, third time through the order. So we will see as we get into the middle innings how Kawakami actually has been able to handle the Orioles.
Good crowd on hand here for this ball game on this Saturday night as Nick Markakis will stand in and lead it off for the O's, down by 2. Markakis, Huff, and Mora. Markakis 0 for 1 and a walk in the ball game. Kawakami has walked 3, struck out 4. And Markakis will take the pitch for a strike. Nick with a 4-game hit streak coming into tonight's ball game. Markakis right now trying to get on base. This has been another problem for both of these teams. They both are not getting leadoff batters on base to start innings. And when you're not scoring, your offense isn't getting it done. That is a common problem. The Orioles are down towards the bottom of the pack here in June in that department as well, on base percentage for leadoff batters. 0-2 count to Markakis. Kawakami starting to get ahead of the hitters, something he was not doing in the first couple of innings. 0-2 fastball will miss inside, 1-2. 79 degrees when we started here tonight. Humidity was up a bit. Very comfortable now with high clouds around and the breeze still blowing in a bit from center. 1-2 delivered to Markakis. That's back in the seats.
Yeah, the one thing that Nick does pretty well is hit with 2 strikes. The league average is right about 189 this year. Last year was 185 for the whole season, and yet he's hitting 237. But you can see great April, 381. Average dropped to 240, but he hit 5 home runs with 18 RBIs in May, and then 243 coming in tonight's game.
Got out in front of that, lofts it down the line, and the count will stay at a ball and 2 strikes on Markakis.
Yeah, I'm not sure you want to throw him a lot of off-speed stuff. He's one of the better breaking ball hitters on this ball club. When we talked about Brian Roberts already taking one of those 66-mile-per-hour curve balls and hitting it back up the middle.
Kawakami and the 1-2. And Markakis a ground ball. Johnson up. Markakis retired, one away here in the 5th inning. Tomorrow the Orioles and Braves will wrap up their interleague series at 1:35. Tickets start as low as $9 and a special Junior Orioles Dugout Club Day. Members are reminded to bring their voucher to the Oriole Park ticket windows to redeem for a free ticket. Family and friends can purchase tickets for only $6. That's for the Junior Orioles Dugout Club. You can call 888-848-BURR to go to Orioles.com or your nearest Chick-fil-A location for info. Aubrey Huff, first ball hitting. Boy, that sinker's working right now. Played to the bag. Canizares, there are 2 down.
Well, you made a very good point last night, is that sometimes when you are in whatever you want to call it, swoon, slump, guys don't like to say that. It's kind of like when you're playing golf and you shank one, they go, oh no, it's not a shank, it's a lateral. In other words, you hit it, instead of hitting it straight, you hit it straight right. Well, but what you do see is that early in the count, you do get anxious, and right there, that's a pitcher's pitch. And when Aubrey's hitting well, or Moore's hitting well, Roberts or whatever, they don't get themselves out. And I think that's happening a little bit more. That's what I see. People are saying, well, they're not running balls out. They played hard last night. They ran balls out. They're just a little anxious because they're not getting the results you want.
Here is Melvin Moore. Moore delivered a single and has flied out 1 for 2. And he will take the pitch outside for a ball. It has been the constant subject of discussion here in this month of June for the Oriole hitters and the manager, Terry Crowley, the hitting coach. Patience. That word has been repeated over and over again. What Jim's talking about, to try and get the hitters into hitters counts. 1-0 delivery to Mora. Good fastball, down and away, 1-1.
And I think what happens, and again, I know they're major league players. You made that point, and it was a very valid point last night, Gary, about you have a certain standard of play, but when you do face good pitching teams, they don't get behind as often. That's why they're good pitching teams. And that's what they've seen over the last 2.5, 3 weeks. Doesn't mean you still can't get hits. A hit here or there would have changed a lot of games.
That ball is going to be a base hit. Melvin Moore has had a couple. A 2-out single here in the 5th inning. The Braves starters have been getting the job done for them. They've gone over the last 12 games with a record of 3-3, but the ERA is 3.45. Their starters have held them in ball games in the month of June when they too have not been hitting, and they too have struggled. But that's the difference. They've been able to stay at 500 during this troublesome offensive period, while the Orioles have won only 2 of their last 10 ball games.
Well, you're right, and Kawakami, he stayed healthy. They went out and got Lowe for a lot of money. They knew what they were getting there, and then they got Javier Vasquez, who has pitched very well. They haven't supported him very well, so they really helped their starting staff. And it's very unfair to, as you know, to compare. We talked about run support. 1.8 Ys in the game, 2.8 in all the games he's pitched. Very unfair to compare the Orioles starter, who are much younger and inexperienced, coming off injuries, to what Atlanta's doing. And that's why they've been better.
Luke Scott will take that first strike. He has walked and grounded out. Luke has not done well against the Atlanta Braves. He's only had a couple of hits and 26 at bats in the games in which he has faced the Braves. That is not uncommon for a lot of hitters over the years, of course, with the pitching that the Braves have had. Here's the 1-1 delivery on the way. That'll be fouled back as Kawakami came in on him and gets ahead on the count 1-2.
Well, you have your advanced scouts. Everybody has that. You have your video. You can see all the at-bats if you're pitching against the Orioles that all the Oriole hitters have had. So they give you an idea. You come up with a game plan, and then the better pitchers can execute that game plan.
Kawakami is doing that at the moment. Retired the side in order in the 4th inning. Only time he's done that. 1-2 count. Delivery on the way. Scott will take it, and that will miss, and the count will go to 2-2.
Yeah, his pitch count at 97. So he's not long for this game. And again, most of those pitches coming very, very early when he was all over. 36 pitches the first inning.
He averaged 92 in April, 97 in May, and so far 96 pitches per game in June. 2-2 delivery and a breaking ball that did not find the strike zone. Had Luke Scott fooled, he wasn't going to swing at it, and with a runner on at first base, Orioles trying to mount a 2-out rally here in the 5th inning. Kawakami with 3 walks and 4 strikeouts. Melvin Moore will be running on the 3-2. Oh, balk.
Yeah. Or maybe he wasn't on the mound. I guess he did.
Wow. No balk called, so he apparently had gotten off the rubber.
Let's see if he steps off. Yep.
And the ball is fouled into the seats third base side.
I'm looking more at home plate because the minute that Canavera said I'm going behind him, I figure, well, and I saw him look at it going, there's no way that he's going to throw over there.
That's a good move if you can execute it.
Well, I'll tell you what, I did it in Tiger Stadium once where I kind of forgot, and then I threw it right at the runner and my first baseman, and they called a balk because there was nobody
covering the bag.
Yeah. I didn't throw it away. I just tried to pick up my moving first baseman who was in a state of panic. I think it was Eddie Murray at the time. And he had let me know you just kind of blank out sometimes.
3-2 delivery on the way and fouled off again. Count will stay at 3-2. Bennett in the bullpen. Jeff Bennett, right-hander. We're in inning number 5, and Kawakami has reached the count at which he has come out of ball games previously. 100.
Well, you're one swing away from tying up the game. That's how hot Luke Scott is. And as you mentioned, Bill Adam Jones hit that home in the first inning. The last 14 home runs have been by Reimold and Scott.
3-2 runner going, and that one is center field. That's going to fall in for a base hit. Moore is on his way to third. The throw lobbed into second. A base hit for Luke Scott, and the Orioles have a 2-out rally going. Reimold coming up. Dave Tremblay, the manager, assessing his growth.
He's got some very big hits for us. He doesn't look intimidated, and he's a guy that everybody is very appreciative of and very happy for, because he's an Oriole guy that's come up through the minor leagues.
And he has, as Dave Tremblay also said, quietly gone about his work.
Yeah, it hasn't been an easy trip either with all the injuries. The fact that he was always labeled a power guy, as Roger McDowell will come out and talk to the battery of the Atlanta Braves. So it's not like he's big bonus guy, and all of a sudden a year and a half later you're in the big leagues. It's been a long trip.
And
but the one thing,
job.
He really has. And obviously, yes, you don't have as many position players at the minor levels as you would like, so you're going to take in some injuries. But what I like about him, and as a guy that pitched for 20 years, I used to judge a guy, can you hit the fastball or not? Because if you can't hit the fastball, you're always going to be trying to catch up with it, and then you're susceptible to break a ball. He can hit the fastball. Dave Tremblay, yes, he can, and he can hit it for power. He had a great at bat against Seattle, where he took a line drive off of Brandon Morrow, who's throwing 96 miles per hour, and hit it like a pull left-handed hitter into right field. So this guy looks like he's got a chance to be a pretty good hitter.
Out of Bowling Green University, second round selection in 05. Reimold, 25 years old. Good size. I mean, he's 6'4", about 205. Gives him some of that power, which the Orioles can use right here. 2 down, first and third. And Reimold on a check swing fouls it off. That caught a piece of McCann. He gets up and immediately takes the glove off. An unintended foul ball. Chuck Merriweather will dust off the plate and give the catcher a chance to regroup.
Well, you go back to the double that Nolan hit early on. It was a high curveball, hit it right over the third base bag, got it by Chipper Jones. I mean, you don't need a double, just a single to keep the inning. You'll be in the Atlanta bullpen if that happens, most likely.
Runners off first and third. Reimold will take it away. 1 ball, 1 strike count. He has also drawn a walk in the ball game. So the Orioles, again, as they have been in so often, another one of these situations where they're looking for that 2-out RBI. The chances keep cropping up here in the month of June. And Reimold right back to the mound, and what also keeps cropping up is the 3rd out. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. Atlanta leads it 4-2. Pretty sunset. In any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Orioles. So the Orioles now with 8 left on base, 2 in that last inning. As Kawakami worked his way through it, it remains a 4-2 lead for the Braves. And the Braves will come on against Brian Bass. He worked in the 5th inning and left a runner stranded. Prado has walked twice and scored once in the ball game. Rich Hill gave up 3 walks, and 2 of them would score in that 4th inning. Hill charged with the 4 runs on 5 hits over 4 innings. Punch down the right side. Markakis coming over. Prado retired, 1 away. 6th inning.
Well, Brian Bass, I started to talk and we got into getting the 3rd out, but you guys did the interview. I remember when Burt Reynolds came on the Tonight Show with Johnny Carson and yes and no'd him. That Brian is a very quiet guy. And I think we found that out on Wired Wednesday.
Brian, how are you? Good.
Yeah, good. Yeah,
you're pitching pretty well.
Yep.
Yes. Matt Diaz.
Yeah, you got to go back to one of those. Talk about your success lately.
I'm doing well.
Been pretty good.
God love him.
But he really has helped the Oriole bullpen. And, you know, he signed with the Twins early in 2007.
Mora.
Pretty routine for Melvin. In fact, they're all been routine lately, the way he's played third base. But I think the Twins looked at Brian Bass, who originally signed with Kansas City, and said, this is one of the guys we can bring into our organization because at every stop along the way, the numbers haven't been that outstanding. You know, 3 and 10, 5 and 7, 9 and 8 early on in the Kansas City organization, but he threw a lot of strikes. And that's what they want. And that's what the Orioles want.
You can throw some strikes, you will get some outs.
And again, by tweaking your mechanics, staying closed a little bit longer, velocity has gone up, movement's gone up. He's on top of his stuff a lot better.
He's got 2 quick outs here. Francoeur, though, will deny the 1-2-3 inning. Francoeur now 2 for 3 in the ball game. He's had a double and a single, 2 RBIs, and got thrown out at the plate. He's having an impact, and maybe for the Braves, good news that his bat's coming alive.
And he's hit 2 breaking balls. The curve ball over Adams Jones, which would have been 3 RBIs if it didn't hop over the center field fence, was on a curve ball that Rich Hill left up a little bit. 0-2 curve ball. So again, cut his stroke down, and then right there, that's a pretty good breaking ball, raked it into left.
Kelly Johnson, number 9 hitter. Johnson showing bunt. With 2 down, did he go after it? Third base umpire says he did. Mike Riley, the crew chief, calling a strike on it. Johnson not real happy. Bass is happy about it, though. 1 strike count.
Yeah. Kelly Johnson, bonus kid, got about $800,000 to sign. They sent him to the Sally League, and as a shortstop, he made 45 errors his first year. And
that hit him.
Yeah. So he gets 45 errors. They moved him to the outfield and then eventually second base. Yeah, breaking ball, and you can't get out of the way.
Third hit batter by Bass this year.
Yep, back of the back foot, inside of the instep.
So at 2 down, that turns the order over, and Nate McLouth will get the chance. McLouth with runners on at first and second and 2 down. 36 RBI man for this ball club. And obviously, again at this point of the ball game, big potential runs out there. That'll catch the outside corner. McLouth hitting .273 since joining the Braves. This is his 9th game with them. He has had a home run and a couple of RBIs in this ball game. 1 for 3 with a single. 1-1, 2 down, 2 on. Outside to McCall, 2-1.
Well, they thought a young player, Jordan Schaefer, was going to be able to play center field, and then he had some wrist problems. Just struck out, I think 160 some at times, struck out almost 68 times. So the wrist really bothered him. They sent him to the minor leagues, and he bruised his hand. But he was a kid they thought was going to play center field, and when they didn't, then they realized they had a huge void in their offense and defensively.
2-1 delivery. McLouth the ground ball. Brian Roberts. And will retire the side. Bass works his way around it. No runs, 1 hit, no errors. 2 are left. It remains 4-2 Braves.
Holiday, Toronto's ace, will avoid going on the disabled list. An MRI today confirmed that he does have a mild groin strain and is considered day-to-day. He could be available to pitch as early as June 20th. Also, Jake Peavy will go on the disabled list. He has an ankle injury. An interesting report on Fox.com surfaced this afternoon. Fox reported that Nationals manager Manny Acta would be fired and would be replaced by the bench coach, but team sources called up and talked to MLB.com, so MLB.com is reporting that those reports are premature. Gary, Jim?
All right, Amber, those reports have been flying around all day today as Washington has completed its game against Tampa Bay. They lost by a score of 8-3, and the rumors were that Manny Acta would be fired after the game and that someone from Chicago was going to be coming on to be the manager. There, as Amber says, though, apparently the Nationals are saying no. So we'll see if where there's smoke there's fire.
Yeah, well, hate to see those things happen. The one thing about Manny Acta, he's pretty upfront guy. Well,
it shows you what managing is, doesn't it, Jim? I mean, a year ago, 2 years ago, even Manny Acta was the new genius of baseball, and I say that positively. I think Manny Acta is a wonderful man, number one, but number two is a good manager. Look, nothing changes. You got the horses, you win. Yeah. If you don't, you don't.
Well, they lost last night on a couple of errors, and they don't have good pitching. They have a completely almost a rookie staff, and that's fine. They're but new ballpark. Who knows?
We'll see.
Yeah.
1 ball, 2 strike count. Once those rumors start flying,
that's what I'm alluding to.
Tends to be some truth.
Yeah, and it's not good for anybody involved.
Did he go? Check at third. No. Wieters has struck out twice, once swinging and once called. We've got Jeff Bennett, the 29-year-old right-hander, on in relief as Kawakami leaves the game after 5, 2 runs, 7 hits, 3 walks and 4 strikeouts, a chance to win his 4th game. And Bennett, 29-year-old right-hander, on in his place. 2-2 to Wieters is inside, 3-2.
Yes, 72 games for them last year, and he's been around. Rule 5 guy early on. They picked him up as a minor league free agent in November of 2006.
Down to first again. Orioles have seen the ground balls from both pitchers. Wieters is retired, 1 away here in the 6th inning. Adam Jones, Nick Markakis, both in the running for a starting position in the All-Star game. You can help out by voting at Orioles.com. Vote orange, save green by voting for your birds. The maximum 25 times. You'll receive a free upper reserve seat to any non-prime O's game after the All-Star break. Vote early and vote often. For details, Orioles.com/vote orange. Robert Andino coming up. Andino 0 for 2 is flied out and grounded out. Bennett appearing in his 29th game has 2 wins, 3 losses. ERA very good at 2.67. Opponent batting average not so good at 3.14. So he's had some runners on base against him, but he's been able to work his way out of the problems. Swung on and missed by Andino, 0-2.
Yeah, when you have that high batting average, you figure that the inherited runners will not be as good as he would like. 4 out of 13. Only been scored on in 7 of his 28 appearances. 3 of the last 6 games, though. And again, a lot of times you just go peaks and valleys. You see a pretty good fastball right there. And I mean, again, if your pitching coach is Roger McDowell, and we talked about him last night, wouldn't you think that he'd tell these guys how much easier it is to pitch if you can throw grounders, pitch around the knees? One of the great sinker ballers in his career.
Well, tonight Kawakami found a way to get some ground balls. 0-2 count on Andino, and it is outside for a ball. Bennett last worked on the 10th against Pittsburgh. He had an inning in which he gave up 1 hit, a couple of walks, and a strikeout. Last run scored against him. Game on June 3rd. So he hasn't given anything up in his last 3 appearances. Did have runs against him in the 3 before that. 1-2 delivery, a high chopper off the plate. Gonna have to be gun. Chipper dives and got him.
I'll tell you, Robert Andino scurrying down the line, and this thing's happened to Baltimore chop, and you got to wait for it to come down, and then watch this transfer. Came up as a shortstop, former #1 guy, and still can throw. There it is, and look at Andino get down the line. He's smelling base hit. Orioles down by 2, and then got him half a step.
Good play by Jones, and there are 2 away. Top of the order, Brian Roberts. He has singled twice, scored a run. 2 for 3, now at 290 on the season for Roberts, and a 5-game hit streak. He extended it to 5 here in this ball game. Orioles again needing base runners. Bottom half of the 6th, 4-7-0 for the Braves, 2-7-0 for the Orioles. 8 left on by the O's and 6 for the Braves. Got to keep that bullpen active, as Bobby Cox likes to keep as many pitchers available for the next game by throwing a number of pitchers in this game where needed out of the pen. Kind of a little different than some managers work at it. 2-0 delivery. Ground ball, base hit into right field. Brian Roberts, a 2-out single and a 3-hit ball game.
Well, the great thing about being 2 runs down is every time you get a base runner, potential time run comes to the plate. Adam Jones already driving in both of the runs after Jones was able to score Brian Roberts, who singled him back in the 1st inning.
Brian has had his 20th multi-hit game and his 7th 3-hit ball game tonight. So Roberts on at first base, hit number 8 for the O's. Jones, the homer in the 1st inning, is 12th. And the pitch is on the corner by Bennett for a strike. With the homer, the Orioles get out of that streak of having 14 home runs hit by either Luke Scott or Nolan Reimold. And for the first time since the end of May, somebody else gets one. Adam Jones. And the pitch is taken down low, 1-1.
Yeah, and you can see that sinker, and they do play him. They play him about 3 steps as we look at Danny Baez getting loose in the Oriole bullpen. 3 steps to right field. So there is a huge gap. I mean, right here. Hit it and run. Hope it stays in the park. Well, you hope it goes out of the park, but if it does stay in the park, don't let it bounce over the wall.
1-1 delivery to him. Ground ball towards second base. There's a force there, and Johnson will take it himself. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, and 1 left on base. 6 complete, 4-2 Atlanta.
Take a look back in the 4th inning. The Braves trying to add their 5th run. Throw for Markakis, 7. Outfield assist, and there is the tag. Francoeur didn't think he got him. Only guy that mattered said yes. Chuck Merriweather, home plate umpire. Francoeur should have known better, don't you think?
That's right. He grew up with Markakis.
Yeah.
He knows the arm. How dare he run?
Well, he had to. 2 outs. There you go. Big mistake.
Nick leads the league now with 7 assists in the outfield. and led it last year. 0-1 count. Escobar, ground ball to short, Andino. And Bass will get the out here in the 7th inning. 1 away. Jones and McCann to follow. On Saturday, June 20, you can join Orioles Reach and the American Red Cross for a blood drive at Oriole Park. Fans will be able to help the Red Cross by donating blood on the 6th floor of the warehouse from 8 a.m. until 4. That's on June 20. All donors will receive an exclusive Boog Powell Baltimore t-shirt and 2 tickets to an upcoming O's game. I'm going to give you a number. You can schedule for a blood donation appointment. 1-800-GIVE-LIFE. That's on June 20. Chipper Jones. Chipper's had an 0 for 3, extending his 0 for 0 for 16. 307 average still. 1-1 delivery to him by Bass to second base. Brian Roberts. 2 down.
Well, what a job Brian Bass has done. Came in, got a little trouble, but struck out Canaveras back in the 5th inning. They got a guy at second base, and what's happening tonight is what didn't happen last night, where the Oriole bullpen has come in and shut the door. So again, if you're the Oriole hitters, doesn't take much to get back into this game.
And that's to first, and that'll do that. Good inning by Bass as McCann lines out in a 1-2-3 inning.
Single by Diaz, double with the bases loaded by Frank Core, and then the sacrifice fly by Kelly Johnson. They'll score 4 runs, and that is the way it is right here as the Orioles come up the bottom of the 7th inning. So again, Frank Core with a double. Rich Hill, only 4 innings, sailing along pretty good till that 4th inning, and then a couple of walks really hurt him. Backed up as we look at Eric O'Flaherty. Came in last night, threw the ball very, very well.
30-year-old, 24 years old rather, coming out of the bullpen, and last night an inning, didn't give up anything and had 1 strikeout in the ball game. He's done a great job of holding runners on base when he's come on with people on, as he's stranded 16 out of 18 and retired 25 of 32 first batters faced. And again, Bobby Cox wants to keep these matchups going, so he gets the lefty here with Markakis, Huff, and Mora coming up in the inning for the O's. Nick Markakis has drawn a walk and has grounded out twice. Bobby Cox keeping that lineup card close at hand.
Well, if you've been following the Orioles, Dave Tremblay, when you get a left-handed starter, will actually have Markakis hitting second with Jones third, at least over the last couple of weeks. But again, when you get a right-handed starter, he puts Huff and Markakis. So again, if you're Bobby Cox, you know that. You bring in the lefties, doesn't mean it's automatic, because not this year, but Huff has not hit left-handers well, but usually both of them do a nice job. Numbers come down power-wise. And O'Flaherty really threw the ball well. 2 years ago, he was 7-1 with Seattle. Last year, back problems. So again, Atlanta goes out. They're looking to how can we get our bullpen better, and so far O'Flaherty's done a terrific job for him.
Nick Markakis off the lefties, hitting .237. Well below the .323 off right-handers. And he gets that pitch on the outside, probably outside. Peter Moylan, Manny Acosta warming up in the bullpen as Bobby Cox will keep that bullpen active. For Bennett, Jeff Bennett worked an inning, gave up 1 hit. Kawakami, the starter, 2 runs, 7 hits over 5. A 2-strike count in a hurry on Nick Markakis. And another sweeping pitch that is way outside and stays off it. And the count goes to 1-2. O'Flaherty, the left-hander's hitting only .200 off him. Right-hander's .250. He's only given up 1 home run, that to a left-hander this year. 1-2 to Markakis, trying to get him to bite on that pitch away, and he wouldn't. And a 2-ball, 2-strike count. 29,645. The announced attendance here on this Saturday night. And a very comfortable evening for baseball. A great night to be at the Yard. 2-2 check swing. Did he go down to third? No, Mike Riley says. 3-2.
Yeah, the year in and year out, Nick hits lefties so well is because he uses the whole field. So again, he usually keeps that front shoulder in. Now the power numbers go down. I mean, he came in with 7 home runs, only 1 against left-handers. He doesn't see as many lefties. Only Luke Scott, 14 home runs, 7 against lefties and righties. Equal power, at least home run wise.
Yep, got on. So the Orioles again will have a chance with a leadoff walk here in the 7th inning. The 4th walk the Orioles have obtained from Atlanta tonight.
Yep. And again, once you get to 3-2, you better throw it for the center of the plate. O'Flaherty can't do that. And again, remember, this is a nice walk because he was down in the count 0-2. He did exactly what Alberto Castillo did last night when the Orioles lefty came in, walked the first batter. And it led to a run in the 7th, and then Henderson came in, gave up a home run. They got 2 more. Well, that's not what you want if you're Bobby Cox. Have your left-hander match up and have him walk somebody to start the inning.
Orioles leadoff man on for just the 2nd time in the ball game. The other one was in the 1st when they scored 2 on Jones's home run. Aubrey Huff will take the pitch outside, 1-1. Aubrey with that 193 average on the left-handers so far, over 100 points lower than against right-handers. Markakis on at first base. Melvin Moore to follow. Orioles trying to battle back here, bottom of the 7th inning, trailing it 4-2. Huff takes it inside. 2-ball, 1-strike count. No wrinkle on that one. Orioles have gotten to this 2-run mark here in June and just can't seem to get through it. 2-1 delivery on the way, and a chopper that's going to go into right field for a base hit. Motoring is Markakis. He'll go to third. Here's the throw. Francoeur not in time, and the Orioles cover the corners with nobody out.
And I tell you, Atlanta gets a little bit lucky because there's no way that Francoeur should have thrown that ball. Because the ball's hit softly, it's going to be an easy ball for Markakis. Doesn't steal a lot of bases, but he can go from first to third, second to home with the best of them. Because O'Flaherty doesn't back up the base. And again, the tying run is not Markakis. That represents the 3rd run. It's Huff at first base.
So Aubrey gets the base hit. He is 1 for 4. Now Melvin Moore, who has 2 singles, will foul it back. 2 for 3 in the ball game for Mora. And the Orioles now in real good shape to get at least 1 here in the inning. And maybe more. 1st and 3rd, nobody out. Delivery swung on and foul tipped at the plate. Melvin has not driven in a run in his last 24 games. It is the longest streak of his career, surpassing the earlier streak of 15 back in 2000. He also has not homered in 30 games. His longest streak in that department is 43 games without a homer. That also is back in 2000 going over to 2001. So Melvin Moore is due. And Mora will take that one to right center field, and right now he's due. That'll get a run in. Aubrey Huff, a good break, will head over to third. It's a one-run game, a single and an RBI for Melvin Mora.
Well, off the snide. A lot of things changing for the Orioles tonight. Melvin 0 for 2 off of O'Flaherty lifetime, and right here he just kind of fights it off. McLeod can't get it until it hops. So there's Markakis to make it 4-3, and then Huff all the way.
Melvin gets his 16th RBI. Huff goes to third. Still nobody out. Here is Luke Scott. Luke has walked, singled, and grounded out in the ball game. And the Orioles finally picking up at least one of those big hits that they needed after the walk to Markakis started it.
And you had a couple of righties in the bullpen. You would have. I'm not going to second guess Bobby Cox with over 2,350 wins. But I had to think that the reason he led O'Flaherty, first of all, 0 for 2, not a lot of at bats against Mora, but the only other lefty they have is their closer. Or one of their closers, Mike Gonzalez. So with Luke Scott coming up, he figures, well, maybe he'll get more out, which he didn't. And now you have a little better of a matchup.
Luke Scott against the lefties, hitting .349 with 7 home runs. Takes the fastball up high, and a 2-ball, 1-strike count. And the Orioles looking for a big comeback here. 7th inning. They've made it a 1-run ball game at 4-3. Dave Tremblay hoping that the start of the comeback of the offense is what he's watching. Luke Scott, he does, gets a base hit into right field. Huff will score, going to third. Here's Francoeur's throw, and he is out. Melvin Mora testing the strong arm of Francoeur. Records the first out at third base. A baseball no-no. This game is tied at 4. RBI base hit for Scott.
Yeah, violation of one of the Cardinal rules. Never make the first or third out, especially against this guy. 19 assists. Gold Glover. And again, you got to make a perfect throw, and of course that's why you win a Gold Glove. He does. I mean, you've tied the game. I'm going to have to go through it. Melvin, he didn't know it, or he wouldn't have gone, but should have known. Just wasn't a very good base running, and of course, again, you have to execute, and that's what the Braves do.
So Francoeur makes the play. That will be it for O'Flaherty as he gets touched up for a walk and 3 hits in the inning, and the Braves will go deeper into that pen. With Mora getting thrown out at third base, the Orioles have had 46 runners out on the base paths. Those are the leaders in that department. The Angels at the top are a team that does more first to third than any other team in baseball. All of those teams aggressive on the base paths. The Orioles, Melvin Mora tried to be and ends up being thrown out by Francoeur. So Melvin knows you can't have that first out occur at third base. Luke Scott, though, give him credit. He got the base hit, the RBI, and was heads up and got down to second base with one away. And here's Peter Moylan.
Yeah, came in last night to face one batter, and that was Adam Jones with the bases loaded, and able to strike him out. A couple of sliders and a sinker, and he has a good one out of Australia.
Nolan Reimold, the sidearm pitch is in there for a strike. Moylan, 30 years old. He is now third in the league in games pitched at 33.
And if you weren't with us, pitched a couple of years for the Twins and then was out of baseball all the way to 2006, selling pharmaceutical products down in Australia. And then played for Australia. Used to play, I guess, once a week playing first base. Had a couple of back surgeries in the early 2000s. Was an overhand pitcher. Dropped down, all of a sudden discovered a fastball. Pitched for the Australian team in the World Baseball Classic, thrown in the mid-90s, time with the Braves, and here he is. Tommy John surgery last June, and he's back already.
Ball game is tied. Potential go-ahead run second base. That one's going to be a base hit. Luke Scott had to wait on it, though. He'll stay at third as Diaz will get it back in. Reimold's got his second hit of the game. He's 2 for 3. And the Orioles again have the corners covered, this time with one away.
So we have a bad base running mistake by Melvin Moore, and then good base running by Luke Scott, because the ball is hit to his right. High breaking ball, did not make a great pitch, and Nolan Reimold does a nice job of getting it into left field. Luke Scott had to make sure that it got by Escobar because he represents the go-ahead run.
4 hits and a walk in the inning, the only out recorded, the play at third base. So all of the Oriole batters have reached here in the 7th, and here's Matt Wieters. He has struck out twice and grounded out, continuing to look for that first hit with a runner in scoring position. If he gets it here, the Orioles get a lead. 1 down. Moylan outside. First and third for the O's, who have 12 hits now. They have out-hit the Braves 12-7, and for just the second time in the last 13 games have passed that 3-run mark. 1-0 delivered inside with a slider. 2-0.
Yeah, the big picture right here for Matt Wieters is you don't even have to get a hit. Just a nice medium depth fly ball. Obviously he'd like to do more. He'd like to get as many runs as you can.
Infield looking for the double play. Here's the 2-0 delivery. Wieters on the big cut. 2-1. So the Orioles come back, get this thing tied up in the 7th. RBIs have gone to Mora and Luke Scott, scoring Markakis and Huff, who reached on a walk and a single respectively. 2-1 delivery. We'll wait.
Just never know when it might work.
Once a year is all you need to keep it active, and that's in all of baseball. 2-1 delivery. Yes, missed down low, and it's a 3-ball, 1-strike count on Wieters.
Well, every time we go to Texas and I see Steve Busby, who is one heck of a pitcher, he could actually do it. And he was one of the first guys that I ever saw do it, and he would make it work. But again, that was in its infancy when nobody else was doing it.
3-1, runners off first and third. Wieters makes it 3-2.
Well, you got a sinker baller on the mound, trying to get him to hit a ground ball, as you mentioned, for maybe turn the double play, and get a hitter at the plate, even if he is a rookie, trying to put the ball in the air. So you had a couple of chances early on, but now 3-2, you just got to make contact. The last thing you want to do with less than 2 outs and a runner at third, get called out on a questionable pitch. And Matt already down a couple of times on strikes tonight.
Peter Moylan trying to work his way through a problem inning. Now the infield moves in. How about that? Bobby Cox has moved the infield in on a 3-2 count with 1 down. They'll try and cut this run off on a hard ground ball if he goes. And it's a wild pitch. and the run will score. And the Orioles have the lead 5-4 on a ball 4 to Matt Wieters.
Boy, that's amazing. You think you've been around the game a long time. Saw Mike Gonzalez throw one up on the screen last night, and he just loses grip on the ball. Gets under, it looked like it's going to be a slider. And again, you'd like to stay on top of your breaking balls. Gets underneath it, it just spins. So there is the go-ahead run.
So the Orioles still have had every man in the inning reach. The second walk of the inning. Moylan surrenders his first. Luke Scott scores the go-ahead run on a wild pitch. It was ball 4 to Matt Wieters. Reimold's at second. Wieters on at first base. And here's Robert Andino. And that's outside for a ball. That is the first wild pitch that Moylan has coughed up this season. And he made sure it was really wild. The only danger on those is that when it's not touched, it hits that brick and bounces back to the plate, but that one didn't.
Yeah, especially here at Camden Yards, since they put in that lower brick wall.
1-0 count, 2 on, 1 down. Andino takes it. It's down low, and that will send McCann to the mound.
Yeah, you look around Camden Yards, and initially when they put that brick in, it wasn't padded anywhere. Players Union came in and said that's going to be pretty dangerous, especially if you're an infielder and outfielder. But with the screen, it is still not padded right behind home plate, so you get that ricochet.
This makes it fun.
And as we go down right field and left field, it gets a little bit different.
2-0 count. Andino with an 0 for 3 in the ball game, 1 for 6 in the series so far. Here's the 2-0 delivery to him, and that misses, and the count goes to 3-0. So Moylan struggling, and Bobby Cox has already used 4 pitchers in this ball game.
Well, you made a good point that, and this was Leo Mazzoni before Roger McDowell took over. Hey, pitching's field. So if you don't throw too many pitches, you can pitch every night. Oh, grounder, automatic.
Stayed off it, and the count goes to 3-1. Good pitch down and away that time.
Well, you need a 9-iron to hit that one.
Moylan's been around the plate in getting behind on Andino. 3-1 delivery coming. Andino, a slow chopper. Moylan off his glove, and everybody's going to be safe. He wanted to make that play at third before he got the ball.
Well, he's having one of those Milton Bradley nights that Milton did in the daytime when he lost the ball in the sun, struck out a couple of times, and then with 1 out, flipped it in the stands thinking there were 2 outs. You got to get somebody out here, because if you do, right there, he just didn't catch it.
It will be an error charged on Moylan. And the Orioles have loaded the bases. And still the only out recorded is the play at third base. 2 walks, 4 singles, and an error. Brian Roberts with the bases loaded and the infield drawn in. He's already had a 3-hit ball game. Roberts, first ball hitting down the line left field. Diaz not going to get it. That'll roll around in the corner. 2 runs are in. A double and a 2 RBI. Bases loaded, 1 for Roberts. And the Orioles on top 7-4.
Pretty nice night for B-Rod. Well, you can see the doubles. They're really going to be 48 to 50 just about every year. And again, you hit it where it's pitched. He just slices it down the line and not going to be able to catch up with it. Diaz makes a nice play off the wall, so that'll keep a 3rd run from scoring.
Brian's second 4-hit ball game of the season. He picks up 2 big RBIs for the Orioles, and Brian Roberts now has 25 runs batted in. The infield stays in, still only 1 out. Jones is the 9th Oriole to hit here in the 7th inning. He has a 2-run homer that came in the 1st. Orioles with runners at 2nd and 3rd now have 7 runs on 13 hits in the ball game. Moylan. Looks like it's going to be his game here, as no moves made to get him out of the ball game.
Well, that's such an intriguing thing in baseball. You have a manager sitting with a Brave uniform who's got the 4th all-time most wins as a major league manager. So he brings in the guys he thinks are going to match up. And it's kind of like a house of cards. When one of those cards starts going, if Flaherty doesn't do his job, you just kind of have to go with the flow. And you bring in the righty, and he throws a wild pitch, doesn't field his position. Orioles with a huge inning. In fact, this is a game of big innings.
Swung on a pitch that was way outside, just over anxious on that. And a 2-strike count on Adam Jones. Braves bullpen, the 8th best ERA in the National League. The Orioles have gotten to it. 3 runs have been charged to Eric O'Flaherty. 2-strike count, infield in, runners off 2nd and 3rd. And the 0-2 delivery, and Jones fights it off just enough to keep his at-bat alive. Remains at 2 strikes. Adam got his 12th home run in the 1st inning. Roberts was on ahead of him when the Orioles took the 2-0 lead. The Braves battled back with 4 runs in the 4th, the only inning they've scored. Maintained the lead to this inning. The Orioles now have pushed 5 runs in to go up 7-4. Moylan again. Infield is in. Here's the 0-2 delivery to Jones. Check swing. Did he go? No. Las Diaz at first.
Well, we talked about the struggles. Came in at 1 for 18, but again, the struggles, obviously they abated a little bit with a home run, but a lot of times part of the matchups is, can you see the ball out of the pitcher's hand? And Moylan, probably very difficult for Adam Jones. Not picking it up.
1-2 delivery. Jones fouls it away. This is the first time since May 29 that the Orioles have had 4 runs or more in a ball game. So for the Orioles, the hope is this is the night the offense found its way, with 7 runs on 13 hits so far.
Well, they're getting hits. 12 hits last night with 6 walks. 13 hits so far tonight.
1-2 delivery. That's going to be looped to center. McLeod got it. Tagging at 3rd. And no throw. Sac fly and an RBI for Adam Jones, his 3rd ribby of the ball game, and the Orioles extend their lead to 8-4.
So an awfully nice at bat. Aided by wild pitches, errors, but again, you're just scuffling, trying to make contact, and boy, it's great when you get an RBI, double the lead, and you can make an out.
A runner is still at 2nd base, and Dino scores the run. That will be charged to Moylan. Bobby Cox out. Will go to the bullpen one more time with 2 away, and a big comeback for the O's, a 6-run 7th. finally gave them the lead. Orioles would continue it with singles by Reimold. Wieters got a walk in the ball game, and the pitching, the bullpen, which has done a decent job for this Atlanta team, just falling apart here in the 7th inning.
And very much like when Rich Hill struggled in the 4-run 4th inning for the Braves, 2 walks thrown in there along with a wild pitch in the air. And then the big double by Brian Roberts. Manny Acosta, big guy out of Panama, comes in.
And Acosta will get the Markakis pop-up into the seats. 2 down, a runner on at second base, Brian Roberts.
And Acosta with 46 appearances last year for the Braves. Hard thrower. I mean, you got to go all the way back to 1998 when he signed with the Yankees. And then picked up as a minor league free agent back in 2003. Started the year down at Gwinnett, their AAA affiliate, and called up on the 22nd of May.
0-1 delivery on the way, and it will be taken down low by Markakis. Acosta last appeared on the 8th against Pittsburgh. Couple of innings, gave up a hit, walked 3, and struck out 2. Did not give up any runs in that ball game. 28-year-old right-hander with Roberts on at second base.
And you can see why Bobby Cox didn't bring him in with the bases loaded, because of those 3 walks you talked about. Not quite as comfortable.
1-1 delivery on the way in the dirt. Markakis takes it, and a 2-ball 1-strike count. Nick Markakis started this inning with a free pass. Would score the first run of the inning. And then the Orioles have gone on from there. They get the 8-4 lead. Nick looking for his first hit of the ball game. He's had 2 walks, officially 0 for 2 in the game. Acosta looking back at Roberts. And the fastball will miss up high. Falls behind 3-1. Eric O'Flaherty, the one who started this inning, 3 runs on 3 hits and just a third. Gave up a walk that has scored. 3-1 delivery. That one to left center field. Diaz is over, and he's got it. That will retire the side, but what a comeback for the O's here in the 7th inning. 6 on the board and an 8-4 lead. Player appearances by a current and a former Oriole, plus professional instructors, autograph and photo opportunities, daily lunch giveaways, and complimentary O's tickets. Goes to Orioles.com, click on Fan Forum to register or get more information. He's ready to go right there. Maybe the age limit could be a problem, maybe not. If he shaved, he might be all right. Might be 16. On the mound now is Stanley Baez. Kevin Bass gets the benefit of that 7th inning. Baez now works, the Orioles up by 4.
Yeah, pretty good year coming off Tommy John surgery. Said he feels terrific. Only 19 hits in those 31 2/3 innings. Has yet to pitch on back-to-back days, and he said usually he pitches 2 innings. And of course because of the pitch count, but other than that he probably could do it. Not pitching multiple innings, but 1 inning or less in back-to-back days.
Melvin Mora, that is a fair ball, running throw, and a good one. Nice play. Canizares retired, 1 away in the 8th inning. Time to text in your vote for the AT&T Player of the Game. The candidates tonight: Brian Roberts. He has had a 4-hit, 2 RBI game. For Bass, a couple of solid innings, no runs, a hit, and a strikeout. And for Melvin Morris, some fine defensive plays, along with 3 singles and an RBI. Text in your vote, A, B, or C, 51862. 1 strike count, 1 down, nobody on. Martin Prado, 0 for 1, 2 walks, 9-game hit streak. Maybe at stake right here, the longest of his career. 1-1. So the pitching, Eric Flaherty charged with O'Flaherty rather, 3 runs, 3 hits in the 3rd of an inning and 1 walk. That to short and over the head of Andino. Prado picks up a base hit. Moylan is charged with 3 runs, only 1 earned on 2 hits in the 3rd of an inning with a walk, as 4 of the 6 in the 7th were earned runs.
Yeah, Robert Andino, what about 5'10" maybe? Can't quite get up. All over the fist of Martin Prado, but he'll take it.
That'll be hit number 8 for the Braves. It comes with 1 down in the 8th inning. Matt Diaz has singled, scored, has an RBI, 1 for 3 in the ball game. And the pitch is taken for a strike. So Brian Bass, right now the pitcher of record for the Orioles, getting Rich Hill off the hook, the starter who gave up 4 runs, 5 hits over 4 innings. And the bullpen of the Orioles will try and get a win.
Well, Brian Bass did a terrific job. There's a ball that's not called a strike. You sit inside, even if it goes over the outside portion of the plate, you don't get the call very often.
Diaz waiting with a runner at first base. And the 1-1. That one will be down low. Wieters blocks it. Danny Baez worked on the 10th against Seattle, the 2 innings. Hit a batter, had a couple of strikeouts in it. He's given up only 1 earned run or less in 12 of 14 appearances this season. And he has gone as many as 3 innings. He did against Toronto. 2 ball, 1 strike count. And it'll be taken up high, and the count will go to 3-1 on Diaz.
Yeah, I think especially with a 4-run lead, the one thing about Matt Wieters, for a big catcher, and I mentioned it last night, threw to Freehan and Fisk in All-Star games, got to give the target a little bit longer. Watch, see, there's the target early on, and then there's no target.
And he slipped. Yep. He did not throw the baseball. Got caught up on the delivery. A balk will be called.
No, that's a good way to hurt your arm. And obviously, when you start loading and swinging that arm back and you lose your balance, you're not going to be able to throw it. It could go anywhere. So back to Matt Wieters, just has to present that target a little bit longer, because that's what you're throwing to. Rick Dempsey used to have the orange circle, so you could really pick up that target.
3-1 delivery on the way, and a ground ball to short will hold the runner, Andino. 2 down. In the division today, the Mets beat the Yankees 6-2, while Tampa Bay downed Washington 8-3, and Florida beat Toronto by a score of 6-5, all in the East. The Red Sox still playing. They've had a long game. Must be raining in Philadelphia. It's 5-1 Boston, but it's only in the 3rd inning. Boston got those runs in the 1st inning. 2 away here. Runner on at second base. Jeff Francoeur will chop it foul. Boston has a 2-game lead over the Yankees starting the day. Toronto now falls at least 4.5, if not 5 behind, depending on the outcome of the Red Sox game. 0-1 count. Francoeur, his bat has come alive in this ball game with a double and a single, a couple of RBIs, 2 for 3.
Boy, would they like to get him back where he was in his rookie year, or even his, at least his full rookie year. He had 29, then 19, then last year. The swing was so messed up, had to send him quick, very briefly to the minor leagues, where he went 7 for 13.
0-2 count on him here. Good jam pitch fought off at the plate. It'll stay at 2 strikes. Prado out there at second, who had a single and got balked down to second base. Orioles on top, 8-4. Trying to muster a come from behind win in this ball game, as they had a 2-run lead in the first, trailed 4-2 going to the bottom of the fourth, and Dave Trembley's team the big 6-run 7th inning. And a ground ball towards the middle. Andino got it. And the throw, he couldn't get anything on it. It ended up being a frisbee out of his hand. Staying at third base is Prado, and that'll probably be an infield hit for Francoeur.
Yeah, you end up almost on the outfield grass, going away from first base. Pretty accurate throw, considering how far he had to go. There's not a lot on it, as you mentioned. Good news is, with a runner at second, knocked the ball down or caught it, either one of those things, and then keep the ball and Atlanta from scoring, at least on that hit.
First and third and 2 down, and Kelly Johnson batting ninth. Single, sacrifice fly, and an RBI, and he has been hit by a pitch. 2 on, 2 down. And that is in there for a strike. It was a base hit for Francoeur, so a 3-hit ball game for Francoeur, and that's the 9th hit for the Braves. Baez needing 1 more to get out of the inning.
Yeah, get a little cooler here. So you talked about the rain in Philadelphia, 90 miles up the road, wind blowing in, and I know some front coming through. Hopefully not.
Not till we're done.
Short term.
Yes. Clearly. 1 ball, 1 strike count. And just a great night here for the game. Taken down low. Baez making this a little more interesting than necessary as far as the Orioles are concerned. After getting 6, last thing you want to do is come back and give anything up in the next half inning. He hasn't done that yet. Kelly Johnson's batting ninth, but he's really much better than a number 9 hitter. Because a left-hander started, he was moved down in the order. 2-1 delivery to him, and a ground ball to second base. Brian Roberts. Baez finds the big out. No runs, 2 hits, no errors. 2 are left on base. We go to the bottom of the 8th with the Orioles leading it 8-4. 5-1-8-6-2. Those extra. The post-game show will have the final results.
Yep, the table setter with 4 hits tonight, Brian Roberts. Well, a lot of guys, a lot of heroes tonight if the Orioles end up winning this game. 8 runs.
Big offensive game for the O's, and they certainly needed it here, and hopefully get the hitters on track. Aubrey Huff, a part of that in the 7th inning, had a single and scored. He is 1 for 4 in the ball game. The Orioles have had offensive help from everybody in the lineup via either a hit, a walk, or an error reaching base. 1-0 delivery, and that is way inside from Manny Acosta, and the count will go to 2-0.
Well, there was that carom that you talked about. If you throw it hard enough and wild enough, you can get that rebound off the wall. I don't think Peter Moylan was trying to do that when that appeared when a breaking ball slipped out of his hand. I did do it in Kansas City once, and it worked. High heater, just right off the wall.
Back to the plate, got the out, center field, deep. McLouth is there. Huff retired, 1 away.
Well, it was an interesting story because we had trouble winning in Kansas City. They had some outstanding teams, and the night before, Amos Oda had tried to stretch a triple into an inside the park home run and got thrown out at home plate. So the next night, I have a 3-2 lead, 8th inning. He hits a high fly ball. Don Baylor traps it against the wall. It kicks into left center field. Paul Blair runs it down. And here comes Amos, and I'm backing up the plate. And he stopped. He probably could have scored. John Mayberry's up. Andy Etchebarren's catching. High fastball, trying to get him to pop up. Throw it right by everybody. Right off the wall. Maybe tagged Amos Otis 10 feet from the plate. Didn't even go into slide. He was so far. Right to me. That was like perfect.
And you planned all that?
No.
Oh,
not at all.
Melvin Moore to center field again. And McLouth is there. Moore is retired, but a 3-hit ball game for him.
Could have been 4 if he gave me the parking spot. I'm telling you. 3. He'll take 3. He's got the tankers and 3 hits. That's fine.
He will.
You know, God bless him.
Well, the Orioles hoping they are setting up the rubber match for tomorrow afternoon in the interleague competition. In the bullpen, George Sherrill getting ready in case he is needed and maybe going to be used here in any event to come on with the Orioles leading it. It will be Brad Bergeson, who's 3-2 against Derek Lowe, 7-3 for Atlanta tomorrow afternoon. 1:35 first pitch. Shows extra will be on at 1:30 for game coverage. Here is Luke Scott. He's had a 2-hit ball game, been on 3 times. 2 singles, a walk, and an RBI for Scott. 2 RBIs for Roberts, 3 RBIs for Jones. Melvin Moore has an RBI. Scott's picked up an RBI, so up and down the lineup. Some of those who had not been in the RBI department for a while have found it in this one. Manny Acosta with 2 down, nobody on. And the 2-0 delivery. Scott will take that, and it's 3-0.
Even in this inning, both the balls, Huff and Melvin Moore have been rockets, but right at the center fielder McLouth. So again, you score 8 runs. Hopefully you end up hanging on to win the game, and then confidence builds. And it better tomorrow because Derek, he had a couple sinker ballers. Brad Bergeson coming off his best major league start, where he was just terrific the other night against the Mariners. And then you have Derek Lowe. Both of them sinker, and Derek Lowe can sink the ball as well as anybody. And he's won 7 games for these Braves.
Can you tell by looking at the managers who's ahead? The pitch is taken up high. Manny Acosta surrenders a 2-out walk here in the 8th inning. Scott is on again, and Nolan Reimold, he's contributed. He's been on 3 times, a walk, a single, a double. He has scored a run, 2 for 3 officially. Pumping his average up to 284 and 16 RBIs on the season. So Reimold in with a runner at first and 2 down. Acosta with a fastball that is in there for a strike. Orioles looking to end that 3-game losing streak and send Atlanta yet one more time below the 500 mark. Braves are 30-30. 0-1 delivery to him, a slider away, 1-1. Interleague play going on into the coming week as the Mets and the Orioles are going to be playing 3 games here at Camden Yards. Mets looking for an Eastern Division title in the National League. Matchups are going to be Guthrie against Mike Pelfrey, Uehara against Tim Redding, and Jason Bergen against Livan Hernandez in the 3 games Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. They are all night games. 7:05 first pitch. 2 ball, 1 strike count. Nolan Reimold waiting, runner at first. Reimold's going to get a base hit into right center field. Scott will make the turn and stay as Francoeur has already shown his arm and
showed it again.
Throw to second.
Yeah, Luke's been around the block. He knows. He played the National League. You don't run on Jeff Francoeur. If you do, you can be ill-advised. Oh, what a bat right here. I mean, great night. I don't care if you're a young or a veteran hitter that need to get that 3rd hit. Don't want to waste it at bat. Talked about his ability to hit the ball the other way, and his hitting instructor Terry Crowley said swing getting much smoother. To me, it's a pretty quiet swing for a minor league hitter coming up who's supposed to be a power guy.
Reimold's got his first major league 3-hit ball game. Runners at first and second with 2 down, and Matt Wieters 2 strikeouts, a ground ball out, a walk, and a run scored in the game. Wieters with a chance to continue his hit streak, which right now is at 3. Orioles have 14 hits in the ball game, and Wieters fouled that one off. He got fooled on it and just topped it back. 1-1.
Yeah, a little split-fingered fastball, and we've seen him. They've done a pretty nice job. Splitters, curveballs tonight. Not a lot of fastballs in the middle of the plate. They have made him reach.
Fastball away.
Yeah, he's got long arms. He can reach.
He certainly can do that. Manny Acosta really struggling here, trying to get ahead of hitters and keep that ball in the strike zone.
Yeah, you look at his numbers over the years, and again signed by the Yankees and then with Atlanta, the walks are almost always 1 per every 2 innings, more than you would like. Good stuff. Bad command.
And again falls behind. 3 ball, 1 strike count on Wieters.
It's certainly not about velocity. I mean, he's been 97, 98, but he's a tall guy. They have him listed at about 6'4", 170 pounds. He seemed a lot. Maybe not a lot. Well, maybe did seem taller, but certainly heavier.
He's got a 3-1. Wieters waiting on it, and a ground ball towards second base. Johnson up, makes the play, and gets the out. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 2 are left on base. The Orioles 3 outs away from a win, leading at 8-4. Dealer for great leases and low financing. For Jim Palmer and Amber Theo Harris, I'm Gary Thorne, joined by Felix P.A. He's going to come on in center field for Adam Jones. Now, George Sherrill's coming on to pitch. Not sure if Adam is coming out of the ball game because of this that happened early in the game. A hard foul ball off his leg.
Well, day game followed by, or actually a night game followed by a day game, so you want to get him off it, put the ice on it. PA. Center fielder, well, they ducked right there. Uh-oh. And the ball goes by him. George Sherrill, he's been terrific. 7 for 7 against Seattle, but 12 of his last, actually, 8 straight save opportunities, but 12 out of 14 for the years, and the walks have come down. All he did was make a little bit of adjustment, close the stance, pick the leg up, get the arm up a little bit quicker, better angle, more velocity, more strikes.
3 outs away, the Orioles from getting out of the 3-game losing streak, top of the order. McLouth, who's had 1 hit, a single, 1 for 4 in the ball game. Sherrill will get it in there for a strike. 0-2.
And of course, this great line with about a 6-run lead in Texas when he needed to get work, because I never saw a 4-run lead that I liked, mainly because it's not a save situation.
Exactly.
Yep. Did he go?
Did he go? No.
Ooh. Come on, Mike. Let's see, Mike Riley, who was umpiring when I was pitching. That's how old he is. Nope. Nice call, Mike. You're the guy. Notre Dame guy.
That's how old he is.
That's how old he is. But he's 59. Yep.
1-2 is swung on and missed. Strikeout on McLeod. Sherrill gets the K. 1 away here in the 9th inning.
Well, you throw a pretty good breaking ball, you come back with a better one. And that's what command's all about. I told him before the game, as we look at George Sherrill, again, very deceptive. Not to mention just a quality breaking ball. Big break, tight spin. Nate McLouth, you go to fastball hitter, you're going to see a lot of curveballs tonight. I didn't know Sherrill was going to pitch, though. I'm glad he is, even though it's not a save situation.
Escobar, the number 2 hitter, he is single, 1 for 4 in the game. Bass stands to be the winner. He would go to 4-1. O'Flaherty would be the loser, 1-1. No save here, at least not yet. That one is fouled back, and a 1-ball, 1 strike count. Yunel Escobar hitting at .296. Couple of hits in the series, 2 for 7. And Dave Tremblay looking for his 26th win this season. The Orioles trying to get one against Atlanta, set up the rubber match tomorrow. Fastball away by Sherrill, 2-1. A big 6-run, 5-hit 7th inning with a couple of unearned runs included. After the Adam Jones home run in the 1st inning accounted for the first 2. Braves got all of their runs in the 4th inning, and the last inning worked by Rich Hill.
Well, they kind of got the bonus pack tonight because they get the big 6-run inning you talked about, and if Sherrill's able to do his job, they will have had 5 shutout innings. They have slammed the door against the Braves hitters.
2-2 down the line, right field, and it is a foul ball. As Diaz right on the line making the call, and it'll go to 2 balls and 2 strikes on Escobar. Now, the Orioles have said, and justifiably so, the players, somebody will pay for this, talking about the slump that has rolled on in June. Certainly the Braves tonight paying some of that price. Now the Orioles got to see if they can keep it going. 2-2. Breaking ball to Escobar will miss, and a full count.
Well, I was working out this morning and I'm at the gym, and obviously one of the guys in the gym who had watched last night's game where you had 14 runners on in 5 2/3 innings, you only get 2 runs. 18 on the night, he only scored 2 runs. He said, doesn't Dave Tremblay have a hit sign?
Yes, he does.
He does.
3-2 popped up, foul territory. Aubrey Huff.
Well, I told Dave that. I said, come up with one. Come on, you're managing his team. And he just started laughing. He said, well, obviously he did. He gave it to Adam Jones in the 1st inning after he gave it to Brian Roberts, who led off the game with a hit.
So see, the guy at the club knew.
Hey, look at him. He's got the hit sign. He's got 4 of them tonight.
2 away, bases are empty here in the 9th inning. And here's Chipper Jones, who's had an 0 for 4. 0 for his last 17 now.
And this is how you want to face a 4-run lead. 5 of his 8 home runs from this side.
Center field and deep, going back. Felix P.A. with room, and this one's in the book for the O's. The Orioles end their 3-game losing streak as they come away with an 8-4 victory and a 14-hit attack. We'll be back to wrap this one up. There's your final line. O's win it.